Let's imagine for a moment Jesus conversing with Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor. While the former warns about the dangers of wealth and the difficulty of a rich person entering the kingdom of heaven, Marcus Aurelius reflects on the ephemeral nature of earthly possessions. Together, they would invite us to detach ourselves from the material and focus on the true riches of spirit and character. But to deepen this imaginary dialogue, let's take a closer look at their doctrines on detachment from the material world in the next chapter. Imagine a serene afternoon in Jerusalem. The age-old stones of the temple reflect the golden light of dusk. In a corner, Jesus of Nazareth, with his serene and profound expression, meets Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor of Rome. Though separated by decades and geography, an invisible bond seems to unite their thoughts. "Master of Galilee," Marcus begins, "I see in your teachings a profound wisdom, one that would resonate in the streets of Rome. You speak of detachment from riches, while I have reflected on the ephemeral nature of earthly possessions. How do you see the relationship between man and his belongings?" Jesus, looking at the emperor with understanding, replies, "Truly I say, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God." The emperor nods, acknowledging the depth of the message. "In my meditations," he responds, "I wrote that very little is needed for a happy life. It is all within you, in your way of thinking. Riches often serve as a distraction from this truth." Both leaders, from their different contexts, converge on a common understanding. Material possessions themselves are not the problem. The challenge lies in the attachment we confer upon them, in how we allow them to define our worth and sense of purpose. As this imaginary conversation fades into the night, a profound question emerges for all of us. What value do we place on material things in our lives? Do they define us, or are they simply tools we use to contribute to our well-being and that of those around us? However, we cannot ignore the fundamental variations in their views and essential practices. Jesus, with his unconditional love for others and call to service, and Seneca, with his emphasis on virtue and the well-being of the community, present two complementary perspectives. But what would unfold if both shared a moment together? In our next chapter, we envision a dialogue between Jesus and Seneca, exploring their similarities and differences, and how each would approach themes such as love, society, and the purpose of being human. On a terrace overlooking a vast landscape of olive trees and golden fields, Jesus meets Seneca, the prominent philosopher and advisor of the Roman Empire. The shadows of dusk begin to lengthen as they both share reflections on a theme that transcends generations: love for one's neighbor and contribution to the common good. Seneca, with his firm and thoughtful voice, raises the question, "I have observed, Master, that your doctrines place great emphasis on love for one's neighbor. In Rome, we also value the well-being of our society, although we often see it through the lens of justice and duty. How do you perceive this love, and how can it manifest in concrete actions?" Jesus, reflecting an unfathomable depth in his gaze, replies, "Love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than this." Gospel according to Mark 12:31. True love seeks not its own benefit but unfolds in actions for the good of others. It is through this selfless love that a true sense of community is built. Seneca nods and reflects. In our Stoic discussions, we explore the idea of sympathy, the interconnectedness of all beings. I see resonances with your words. In my writings, I have said, the well-being of all humanity is interconnected. If there is a common benefit, then it is connected. It seems we are both speaking of a deeper understanding of how each individual action can impact the very fabric of our society. Jesus smiles gently and adds, "Every act of kindness, however small, is like a stone thrown into a lake. The ripples expand, touching hearts and lives beyond what our eyes can see. So it is with the kingdom of God, like a seed that, though small, grows and bears abundant fruit." Seneca, with an expression of recognition, concludes, So, though our paths may differ in their foundations and practices, the essence of love and the pursuit of the common good is a thread that binds us. Each of us has the capacity to enrich and uplift our society through our daily actions and decisions. As the sun sets on the horizon, leaving a sky tinged with oranges and purples, the conversation between Jesus and Seneca fades, but its resonance endures. It reminds us of the eternal importance of compassion, empathy, and unconditional love in building a better world. And as we reflect on this profound conversation, we turn to another exchange of ideas between Jesus and Epictetus, where we will explore their fundamental differences in beliefs and practices. The air becomes dense in a hypothetical room, where in one corner, Jesus sits with his compassionate and serene gaze. In front of him, Epictetus with a thoughtful expression. The clash of two great minds who, though sharing universal values about humanity, morality, and purpose, originated from different foundations of belief. Master from Nazareth, Epictetus begins, throughout my life, I have maintained that our will is linked to reason, and through it, we attain true freedom. What do you think about the nature of human will and its relation to faith? Jesus, always thoughtful, responds, true freedom comes from knowing the truth, and the truth will set you free. Gospel according to John. He continues, faith is the assurance of what we hope for, the conviction of what we do not see. Letter to the Hebrews. Epictetus nods, recognizing the depth of the response. In our reflections, we maintain that reason, when aligned with nature, guides us toward virtue. Faith, from my perspective, requires a suspension of reason, and though powerful, it can veer us away from objective truth. To this, Jesus replies, every tree is known by its fruit. Faith, when genuine, does not contradict reason but transcends it, guiding the heart to deeper and eternal truths. Epictetus, quoting one of his own teachings, says, we are not disturbed by events, but by the interpretation we make of them. In this sense, our interpretation of the world, guided by reason, determines our well-being. The air in the room subtly changes, not into tension, but into deep contemplation. Both acknowledge that, while they share the desire to guide humanity towards inner peace and virtue, their paths fundamentally diverge in how they perceive and relate to the world. These differences prompt us to consider the theological roots of Christianity and the Stoic worldview. While Christianity upholds a theocentric view of the universe, Stoicism leans towards a perspective based on nature and reason. Both philosophies have their merits and offer us different lenses through which to interpret and experience the world. With this framework in mind, it's essential to delve deeper into these differences and consider how these perspectives can enrich each other. In our next segment, we will delve into Christian theology and the Stoic view of the world, seeking to find a balance between faith and reason. The room, still imbued with the previous dialogue between Jesus and Epictetus, is filled with a new air of reflection. While Christian faith proposes a personal God who intervenes and cares for humanity, Stoicism perceives the cosmos as a rational entity, a totality governed by what they called logos, or universal reason. Christianity, with its rich theology, speaks to us of a loving God who became man in Jesus of Nazareth. This divinity, in an incomprehensible act of love, incarnates to redeem humanity from its flaws. It is a religion based on relationship, on the interaction between the divine and the human, between the Creator and his creatures. On the other hand, Stoics see the world as a reflection of a logical and natural order. It's not necessarily a personal God who governs, but a universal reason, a logos that permeates and structures all existence. Seneca, one of the most prominent Stoics, mentioned in his letters to Lucilius, God is not separate from the world, he is within it. This perspective promotes the idea that living in harmony with nature and its laws is the path to wisdom and virtue. Despite their differences, Both views can complement each other. The theological focus of Christianity emphasizes the importance of relationship and grace, while Stoicism, with its emphasis on self-discipline and self-control, can provide a framework for living out that grace practically in everyday life. At the end of this exploration, we are faced with an essential question. Is it possible to combine the depths of Christian theology with the practice and reason of Stoicism? Can Jesus, with his revolutionary lessons on love and grace, be considered in some way a Stoic Messiah? Kevin Rowe, a renowned New Testament expert at Duke University, highlights how Stoicism and Christianity share parallels and points of convergence throughout history. In the 2nd century, Tertullian referred to Seneca as Saep Noster, or often ours, and Jerome simply called him ours. Augustine, in The City of God, also acknowledges Seneca's influence. This intersection between both currents is palpable, leading to an intriguing question. Is it possible to harmonize being a Christian with being a Stoic? Some attempt to unify these philosophies, while others emphasize their differences. Although full integration may be challenging, it is recognized that a Christian can complement their faith with Stoic reflections and vice versa. Josephson, specializing in biblical studies, quotes Seneca to emphasize the importance of absorbing wisdom from various philosophical sources. Dodson comments, "While Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life for me, I am convinced that Stoicism has enriched my understanding and Christian devotion." Kevin Bosch, a specialist in clinical psychology and author of Between the Porch and the Cross, supports this view and adds, "During my research, I discovered surprising similarities between Epictetus's ideas and some modern Christian stances on issues like family and reproductive ethics. Without labeling the Stoics as Christians, it is undeniable that they offer enriching perspectives for everyone." In both Stoic and Christian scriptures, we find parallel lessons on: Number 1. Contentment. "I do not say this out of need, for I have learned to be content regardless of my circumstances. I know how to live humbly, and I know how to abound. I am accustomed to any and every situation, to being filled and being hungry, to having plenty and having need." Paul. It is the attitude, not the circumstance, that should be evaluated. We must investigate whether the rich man can be content if he falls into poverty, and if the poor man can be content if he rises to wealth. Seneca. Number 2. About revenge. "But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also." Jesus. "Only a small-minded man exacts revenge." Seneca. Number 3. The golden rule. "Do to others as you would have them do to you." Jesus. "Where a human being is, there is an opportunity for kindness." Seneca. 4. About mortality. "Think about your end at all times, and you will never sin." Sirach 7:36. "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." Marcus Aurelius. 5. About anxiety and worry. "Worry weighs a person down. An encouraging word cheers a person up." Proverbs 12:25. "Today I escaped anxiety, or no, I discarded it because it was within me in my own perceptions, not outside." Marcus Aurelius. 6. About love. "Above all, love each other deeply." Peter. "Be free from passion and yet full of love." Marcus Aurelius. 7. About discipline. "No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it." Hebrews 12:11. "If you obtain anything good with labor, the labor passes quickly, but the good endures. If you do something shameful in pursuit of pleasure, the pleasure passes quickly, but the shame endures." Musonius Rufus. 8. About anger. "Do not be quickly provoked in your spirit, for anger resides in the lap of fools." Ecclesiastes 7:9. Nothing is more deafening than anger, nothing more deadly. It's a hard master and a treacherous companion. If you concede, it will take you over completely. If you fight it, it will make you exhausted. Seneca. 9. On quietude. Be still and know that I am God. Psalms 46:10. Transition from one unselfish action to another with God in mind. Only there can you find steady quietude. Marcus Aurelius. 10. About examples to follow. Be imitators of God, therefore, as dearly loved children, and live a life of love, just as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us as a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God. Paul. Choose someone whose way of life as well as words, and whose very face, as mirroring the disposition that lies behind it, have won your approval. Be always pointing him out to yourself, either as your guardian or as your model. Seneca. 11. On loving enemies. But if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head. Romans 12:20. Goodness is invincible, provided it be genuine, not plastered on. What could even the malice of a foe do to you if you were still to show him kindness? And in case the opportunity offers, expose his errors, admonish him, but quietly, not in public. It is your business to make a good character, but the character of another no one can make. Marcus Aurelius. This journey we have just witnessed, traversing the sands of time and philosophy, led us to contemplate the possibility that Jesus, the Messiah of the Christian tradition, could have shared similarities with the great Stoic thinkers. Both philosophies, though unique in their approaches and perspectives, converge on universal truths about humanity, morality, and purpose. While Christianity delves into the depths of divine love and personal relationship with God, Stoicism offers practical tools to live in accordance with nature and find serenity amidst life's storms. As we reflect on these teachings, we realize that, regardless of our religious beliefs, there are valuable lessons we can incorporate into our daily lives. As mentioned in the Gospel of John, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So whether you identify with the teachings of Jesus, the reflections of Marcus Aurelius, or simply seek a deeper understanding of yourself and the world, there's an invitation here to live with purpose, integrity, and a love that transcends all barriers. And that concludes our discussion for today. But I ask that you don't exit this video just yet. Listen to what I have to say. Below, you'll find the link to our channel's exclusive.
Greetings, folks. We're back at it again, doing the best broadcast ever in history. It'd have to be that way because your humble narrator and trusty broadcast host is here at One Paul Unslave. Shadow banned as I am, they cannot stop the white gorilla because, you got to own it. To me, my apprehension, not much else to do other than speak the truth, live the truth, uphold God's law, and to question and or rebuke the infidels who want to gaslight and manipulate and deceive and disempower. Yeah, and these folks, the ubiquitous they that the conspiracy theorists talk about, I don't perceive them, if they do exist, to be all powerful. Just a collection of psychopaths and sociopaths who are cowardly and weak without their groups and resources, just like the public. So there's really not much of a difference between any of these human scum who populate this realm. They're all basically one personality with various disorders, and they're looking for power in this world, just like the public. And they're going to get it the same way a lot of the public would if they knew how and or were willing, which they're not willing to do anything. Right? A year and a half ago, I told you we're going to do World War III. Iran is going to be one of the players, which will lead to Israel, Russia, and Ukraine, of course. Once we saw that start up. See, that was my
God damn it, Paul.
That was my canary in the coal mine. Once I saw Russia, Ukraine, I go, oh, I know where this goes. The last 3 years were your fucking official wake-up call. If you didn't get the message, you're fucked. You paid the bill for your own slavery and genocide. How do you feel? Yeah, I mean, how much smoke before there's a fire? and how much fire before folks start to batten down the hatches, so to speak. These are crazy zealot dogmatics. They're tapped into some force they think is God. I contend it's the devil, the dark one, whatever entity or state of consciousness runs this place from the beginning of time. And they're going to cause their own destruction and destruction of others with some misguided spiritual pursuit. They're being avatared and used, is what it seems to me. We got Fox Noise saying that World War III is officially started. Axes of evil time. They're going to connect Russia with China and Iran. A few other folks. They're going to connect the United States, United Kingdom, Israel, and a few other folks. And then everyone else will be forced to choose sides for a time. And we'll get back to one world order, some folks might say. So the storm is coming. You're all giggling and laughing, acting cavalier like something's going to be solved. No, the storm's been coming, like I said, 1.5 years ago. They're going to shut this place down. They're going to torch the economy. They're going to move the floor under you. And a lot of you are going to be out in the street begging for food. It's called Greater Depression. It's called economic collapse. It's called centralized digital currency moving in with social credit system. This is not new. One world currency, one world religion, if they have their way. And I'm not interested in folks who want to ignore it and act like everything's going to always stay the same in their naivete. You know, it's just middle ground every time. The Tao is the middle way. Walk the middle ground. Moderation in all things, preparation, careful, surrendering in faith after we've done the next right thing. Many things need to be done. Nothing is left undone. Greetings, folks. We have Penal Power in the backstage area. I'm going to bring him right in. Penal Power, this is what I would like from you going forward. I want you to put a notepad right on that table that you sit at every day that you're here. And I want you to start jotting down keywords and phrases, subjects that pique your interest or that you resonate with, excite you. Right? The same goes for other folks down there as well. I want a curated experience here going forward, Penal Power, and I want you to practice grasping onto the value at times, or checking in with yourself, seeing where you resonate, and then kind of working out what I think is valuable content or conversation versus what is just your interest, right? Not to say it would not be valuable because it's your interest. It's just that I have to go with what interests me doing what I do here. It's not personal. Can you hear me, sir? Are you there? Power? Are you vacuuming right now?
Hopefully not, God willing.
There we go. There we go.
Hope is as hollow as fear, but yeah, I'm hoping that I got some good sound today.
Yeah, so again, we don't take it personal here. I have, just like every personality, certain interests or focus or places that I think are the most valuable or entertaining. So I lead with that, because if not, then this would not be an intuitive process. I'd be constantly trying to figure out what other people want and need and like and what they're entertained by, and I'd be off balance and off center. With that said, I think that there is some value to the process of folks who are here regularly, who kind of know me in a sense, or, know what I enjoy or what I'm interested in or what they get value from with me, and then kind of directing me, right? Like your dancing monkey. That's kind of what I've become here, the dancing monkey. So I need direction sometimes.
Yeah, it's very easy to get, off course, so to speak, get distracted, especially when certain individuals want to focus on other individuals who have little to no. Well, I don't know much from this Dick Wart, as the snafu creature has
Daddy, I come from the kingdoms riding around, and I come to enslave you, sire. And this peasant penal or penis doesn't know that the slaves in Enslavia are having issues. He doesn't worry about the people.
Do you understand that at some point, potentially by like my late 30s, maybe even mid 40s, I want to be even more developed than I am now? I know that's not something that a lot of other folks want, or think is necessary or beneficial. I don't want to be perpetually stuck at a middle school, high school level mental and emotional acuity.
Sire.
So with that said, can I ask why you have a constant picture of an obese woman now? And
sire, I come on urgent matters, really, sire. I come right in the lands, and I deal with the pedo pogo optics all the time. That's a different story. But this pedo,
you are head of the pedo pogo division. That is true of the kingdom.
This goes off of what he just said, though. Unslavia has issues within its land because the slaves of Unslavia are being discriminated upon. And this is where Peniel doesn't understand when you watch for the people. Mrs. Fox has been discriminated upon, and we have decided that Bex, since she's an Unslavia, a woman of Unslavia, she will trade herself, sire. And so we were going to make a deal with Mr. Z to trade Bex for Fox's freedom. And see, Peniel doesn't understand that the slaves of Unslavia are standing up for themselves, and this is good. So
the beta male kingdoms need adequate supplies of feminine creatures to destroy.
I just wanted
in order to retain their power. So.
Do you feel the trade is a good way to go, sire? The women of Unslavia are standing up against the discrimination, and they have come with a plan of tradement, sir. But again, you are the sire.
I being the most equitous god king that I can be, govern the kingdom much like I do frying a small fish. I don't spoil it with too much poking, as the Tao indicates. So if that is what the people of the kingdom of Enslavia have decided, I will support that decision. Who am I to interfere with the diplomacy at the lowest levels of kingdomry?
Again, you are a gracious king, gracious god of all media, sire. And Peniel Power, this should be an example why you watch out for the pedo pogos and the people of Enslavia and just people online. Because this example of coming together, and Josiah, you are gracious. Thank you. I yield. The Jackie Fox, Free Fox, who is discriminated upon for her Enslavia. But Bex said she'll trade herself in, so we could just trade her ass and we get her out. So it worked, but still, Bex is taking for Enslavia too. Sire, you're gracious. Thank you.
No need to thank me for my myriad of amazing attributes and qualities. It's embarrassing to her.
I can't believe.
Go ahead, Fox Creature.
I can't believe Bex would do that for me. She is such a trooper and such an unslavious, beautiful re-edition.
Is it possible that she's just tired of living, having experienced the plethora of panel miscreants and beta males? Is it possible she's just given up all hope, and that this is not an altruistic endeavor?
That could be very.
Sire, I still must say she's doing it whether in hope or not hope for Enslavia, sire. So we must give bones to where they're needed or shown. We must.
Right, but it's important if we're going to pick a sacrifice that the sacrifice be a truly willing sacrifice. I don't want this to be an oppressed, repressed, depressed sacrifice. It will lack vigor.
Maybe she should come up here and let us know if she's a willing sacrifice or she just wants to just, that's a good point.
Absolutely. Bring the wench forward. Please don't remind me. It's more of an obligation than it is a Jackie Fox laughing there. What's so funny, Mrs. Fox?
I don't know. It's just cute. I'm being
all right. Bring forth the Bex creature for judgments.
Yes. For the Fox pleasure.
And we must remember the kingdom she's sacrificing to, the Z, the audience. This is a sacrifice.
The kingdom of audiology, where the majority are blind and deaf. Absolutely.
I'm just thinking about it now.
Sire. The Bex creature is here. Us. The honorable.
Greetings, Bex creature.
King.
Greetings. Is this a correct assessment that you are in fact willing to sacrifice yourself to be destroyed by a beta male in its kingdom in order for them to retain their power?
Well, to be clear, I thought I was sacrificing my voice so that I would be no longer able to chat in the chat or perhaps even be banned from the studio.
Precisely.
That's what
your tongue will be cut out, as is
my
the
tongue,
proper ceremonial procedure.
yes,
As the
yes,
fox
I am
is
willing
free.
to
As
sacrifice
the
my
fox is
tongue
free.
in the land of Zealander, for the sake of Jackie Fox to have her tongue back. Yes.
Now, you're aware of what these men will be doing with your tongue once it's detached.
Well, they'll probably
Let's
be
just say
using
that these men are very... Go ahead.
I think if it's going to be used to bring pleasure to other women while detached from my face, it'll be put to good use. Because they're not willing to do it.
Oh, no. It will be shoved far up the deepest orifice, only to tickle the G-spot of the homoerotic beta male and its kingdom acolytes. It will not be used to service other women.
So long as it's not seen as predatory behavior and detached from my very being while it's being used that way.
So wait. So now you're giving conditions of the sacrifice? What the fuck? This is
what happens when women become equals in society. This is why I ruled against it for hundreds of years. I and my progeny.
I apologize.
Or my predecessors, rather. Excuse me.
Against me. I thought she was going to say if she's a willing sacrifice or a non-willing. I didn't know she was making excuses. So she's coming up with these. Are you truly enslavia ready for the sacrifice to free Fox?
I am ready. I am
in front of the king. You understand the importance. You're in front of the king for the sacrifice. Like,
all right, bring forth my most pathetic of warriors. Where is he hiding at this time? Bring him forth, so I may inform him of the proceedings.
Yeah. He may just silence us both.
I don't think I'm going back, so it really doesn't. I try.
Well, this will teach the goofiest of the broken hoes to stay away from kingdoms of such nature. I've tried to warn them, but much like the prodigal son, my prodigal daughters have gone off to experience firsthand. Quiet, warthog creature. I'm delegating, and I'm proselytizing and delegating. Please don't interrupt me. This is a very war-weary process. This is very wearing on me.
I get it, but we must give where it's due. The slaves, sire, and I'm humbly saying this with no recourse or repercussion against me, sire. I'm just speaking for the people. Unlike
I'll be the judge of that.
They have offered a sacrifice for each other. The unslaved slaves are doing it right in the kingdoms. I must say the witness of them willing to work in a unison and unslaved to figure the problem, sire, is the most important thing we've witnessed here. You know, whether they stay away from the lands or not. I journey these lands knowing the dangers, but your slaves here have maybe escaped. And I wanted to bring it to attention that this is the work of the kingdom, sire.
All right, Sappho creature. Let's move on. The music is ended.
Yeah.
The games and festivities have ended.
I'm heading down. I gotta get to work.
Yeah.
I don't
want with your life.
I don't want trade. I would like to stay in Z jail forever and ever.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like, what if a tree falls in the forest? If you're banned at a broadcast that has no value, does it really even happen? Does it make a sound? I don't know. I'm trying to put those two together. The tree, the forest, yeah. Like, if you're blocked at a broadcast that you don't even care about isn't entertaining in any way, does it really matter?
No.
Hey, I want to know biggest.
Start a group chat. I know you want to hang out and chat, talk to everyone else who's more interesting than the broadcaster. Just start a group chat.
Daddy, why is pineal power only strengthened for the weekend? Why not strengthened all the time? Are you like just a pick and go kind of guy, or you just pick what days you're strengthened, or like why this weekend?
You must not get the play on words.
Is your dry spell over?
Strengthened for the weekend, not weekend, all the weekdays and a weekdays. Your thoughts?
Oh.
I noticed that's been going around too. Everywhere you go now, it's your thoughts. I stole it from way back, and they all stole it from me.
Mm-hmm.
That's you.
Or I heard a lewd, crude, and rude on Z yesterday when I tuned in for a minute.
Oh yeah, it's amazing how how the folks will sit around me and use all of my lingo, and even do the bits, and then act like we don't see that. It's kind of strange.
I mean, I do it sometimes and catch myself. I'm like, you know, where did I get that? Oh yeah, that's right.
It's funny when your biggest haters start doing it too. Like Ian China, he fucking uses a lot of your lingo. I've noticed.
I know Aluma Tranny does too. He's calling everyone broken hoes, and he's constantly with whatever I say and do. They're constantly. I guess imitation's the most sincere form of flattery. So regardless of what they speak, they show that they have adherence toward what I do, and how I do it. They will strongly adhere to it, so much so they will incorporate aspects of who and what I am into their own beingness and personality. So that's a positive thing. I'm going to take that as a compliment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I ever did get to show you that voicemail rather that Ian left me. This was a long time ago at this point. Yeah, right. I'll be careful.
Show it.
But basically, the phone is fucking destroyed now. I dropped it in the shower. This is the last cell phone I had over 6 months ago. But it's probably a voicemail from I don't know, 8 months ago maybe, 9 months ago maybe. And it was basically just, in summary, Ian saying he has no issues with anyone, including you, and that he just this was, I think, right before he took a break from the tube. And he basically was saying just that there's some differences there, there's some differences there, and yeah, they had no issues with you. And then he proceeded to take that long break, and he did have some
come
stuff
back
going
and do
on
the same thing.
He had
admittedly, he had some stuff going on that I guess is hard to talk about. Kind of like how
how it was hard to talk about my buddy Chad, the military veteran who said he's in China huffs gas. Yeah.
Right.
By the way,
right.
check cars out. Sorry, I promoted.
Yeah,
but
I don't know about that, but I'm not sure about the gas thing, but
it's a true story.
All right, let's not take up too much time, energy, attention on Ian and the various inconsequential performers on the metaverse. I mean, obviously, they don't want to be here any longer. They don't want to work with me for whatever. Hello? Did you hear something?
Sorry, I was saying I reviewed that document you told me to review. The biggest. I mean, there's really nothing.
Do you find it at all ironic that you picked a selfie of a woman who you think is disconcerting and obese, and you look oddly a lot like her? It's almost like Pineal with the sister. Like, if I had to go, whose sister is that? I go, that's Snafu Snap's sister, because it's 1 for 1. Like, if you just throw a beard on that woman, it's pretty much you.
I gotta.
You find that you're trying to insult her, and indirectly you're insulting yourself.
No, this is her. I'm just,
just rolling with it, like whatever.
Yeah. Well, we're starting to go fund me for her face. If I were to have warts on my dick, like Pino said, it'd probably look like that. I don't have warts on my dick though, Daddy.
Right.
Right. But no, this is just a new player, new one and getting involved. But we can move on. None of your business.
They're called venereal warts, not venereal warts.
Pixelated or non?
Snafu venerates his warts. He has a whole procedure that he does. I don't want to get into it. All right, let's just move on to something pertinent, maybe to the world stage and the individual, kind of all at once, if possible. Try to make that happen. Penile Power, if you have any germane subjects that you want to cover, please.
I put one in your backstage. Serious info.
Yeah, but you're doing it again because you're saying that. What's in the backstage now?
You said move forward, so I could go back to the.
And this is like relating to the world stage and the individual and
your conscious, kind of maybe the thing that you talk about all the time, But this is what the CIA released. I mean, it's released documentation. You can look it up. I just always thought it was interesting because it is to the subjects that you talk about: the conscious, to the mind, the human.
Okay, so let's see what we got here now. Because the last time you did this, you completely embarrassed me, according to Randy Reeves.
I'm just saying, it's real shit.
I know. Like I'm just saying, Randy Reeves. Hello. Don't do this. The following is an accessible transcript from the Central Intelligence Agency reading room called Analysis and Assessment of Gateway Process. Let's see. You're doing it again. Okay, you got classified documents. Who knows if they're real or not? This didn't happen during the Super Bowl, did it?
I'm just telling you, it's the whole thing about
you tasked me to provide an assessment of the gateway. This is already phrased in a way where I'm not buying it. Just so you know, I just want to show you how quickly it happens. But I'll just continue. I'm saying that for Randy Reeves as well, because he thinks that I take everything you put forth with any credibility, and that's like it's very limited.
It's okay. Public. It's public.
So, and this is who now speaking. Okay, Commander, U.S. Army Operational Group, Fort Meade 2. Do we have a from? Okay, so we don't have a from. Let's go to the bottom and see who this is from. Nothing. This isn't signed.
Oh, it's just interesting because it's off of the consciousness, like you talk about, and but I mean, these are just classified.
Could you give me the boil down breakdown of what the hell this is I'm looking at? Frequencies.
They're talking about the consciousness and the simulation. Just it's really interesting. It's about what you talk about, but in depth and like release government form. Like I said, I'd say.
Okay, Wayne McDonald, some type of high-ranking official. Physics of altered human consciousness deals with some conceptualizations that are not easily grasped or visualized by exclusively in context of ordinary left brain linear thinking. So, to borrow Dr. Bohr's mode of expression, part of this paper require not only logical but a touch of right brain intuitive insight to achieve a complete, comfortable grasp of the concepts involved. So basically, just like they're studying the mind, conscious, and awareness. And did you get a conclusion on this? Like, where do they leave off? What is their?
They basically are talking about it's a simulation in a sense, in their thoughts, like the way they, like I guess the most ABC Hooked on Phonics book for dummies way to break it down is they're sitting here basic. Now again, a lot of people are saying, these are old documentations, and we know that, like, if something were to ever happen, mud flood theories exist, all kinds of shit exists. This is true. Remember, these agencies are funded by the average taxpayer, blah, blah, blah. But the fact is these are documentations on everything that we talk about, like the conscious, the mind, simulation, blah, blah, blah. And I just thought, you always tell me to bring real shit to the table, and you could always re-look at it before you ever. But
okay, so basically, here they're speaking about suggestibility and manipulation. It seems not speaking about. It's written about the idea of you can induce somebody to have an experience by speaking that reality into their beingness.
Boom, boom. And it's very like detailed as you read earlier, but like, yeah, I mean, it's exactly everything you talk about. And it's just one of many, but these are, you always tell me to go to something new. So I just figured I'd bring a table. They could do the research themselves, just the title alone.
Okay. And what is the, yeah, I mean, it would be great if somebody would like sift through any of this crap that you bring here and kind of pull out the summations, some kind of succinct and concise summation or summarization of what it is being indicated.
I think there's a YouTube video attached to this link. I don't know, but I figured you wouldn't want to play that. So I just sent you the actual one that has the actual paperwork, the file, the article, the whole thing. But it talks about, as you can see, for all you big on the Hertz and this, the water testing, and again, these are tax fucking funded CIA documentation, blah blah. But it's the shit we always talk about: the mind, the simulation shit. Paul always speaks, and this is their side, their type, their study. That whether or not it's bullshit or whatever, just like you said, but this is real. They could go look it up. Like Randy, even the other one was real. Like Randy is just a fucking dumbass.
Instead of suppressing the left hemisphere as is done in hypnosis or largely bypassing and ignoring it, as is done in transcendental meditation. Biofeedback teaches the left hemisphere first to visualize the desired result and then to recognize the feelings associated with the experience of successful right hemisphere. Okay, no, that is how it's worded. Successful right hemisphere access to the specific lower cerebral cortex, pain or pleasure or other areas. I don't even understand why this is worded this way. Very
well, probably because it's
counterintuitive the way this is worded.
Documentation type, even later. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that one day it could be released or not.
Special
You know how the motherfuckers do it. It's a wizard word scramble.
Yeah, this is nothing new. They've been studying human beings seemingly from the beginning of time to figure out how to mind and heart control folks. It's essentially, you could argue, political science, right? That's what political science is, the science of governing folks' mind and heart to an outcome that you wish to achieve. We know that. They've admitted to it over and over again. Never let a crisis go to waste. Alchemy? And they'll create... Say again?
Would you call that alchemy in a sense, though? All the shit we're witnessing? That's not,
I guess you could call it that in a way. I mean, alchemy, traditionally, as I understand it, is really just purifying oneself, which is a lifelong process that we all seem to be a part of. But yeah, I guess you could call it reverse alchemy in a sense.
Geopolitical, socioeconomic alchemy, sure.
Yeah, instead of facilitating the purification of beings to a higher sense of self and beingness, they've essentially created systems and circumstances to deprive or distract the individual from that process. So you could call it a reverse alchemization in a sense. But again, it requires willing participants. This is where I don't play the blame game and the victimization game. It requires willing participants, aware or unaware. And there's really nobody at this time who can claim that they're completely unaware. Ignorant, arrogant, yes, not unaware, because someone spoke it to you, someone showed it to you. The universe has shown you and spoke it to you in some way, first and foremost, I would bet. So there are no excuses at this point.
What part?
Yeah, you just answered the question I was going to ask. Do you think there's more unaware versus aware? But you pretty much answered it. I kind of
no. I think awareness has levels. I think everybody's aware. If you're conscious and awake, you're aware. If you woke up today, you're aware. The question is on what level. What are you aware of, and what are you missing? And that's the common experience.
Counterintuitive. You mentioned what part did you think seemed counterintuitive? I mean.
Yeah, not necessarily counterintuitive, but the what would be the word? It's not exactly a user-friendly text. That's the word I use, but it's not the best word
it is a CIA, supposed CIA declassified. Any time I just hear that, it's CIA declassified, I'm just like, okay, automatically I'm like, all right, so what do we trust? That they're declassing legitimate.
Yeah, it's essentially like taking a bunch of college students and then going, could you look at this and then write me a paper? And now I got to sift through 5,000 words to get down to what could be a paragraph of summation, because they all want to impress their boss and they all want to seem intelligent. And in their grammar and their attempts to seem intelligent and informed, they make consistent mistakes. It's one thing doing that with the spoken word. I'm sure I do it regularly. I talk so often, it's almost impossible to not make grammatical errors. These are folks who've like written up their life's work in secret documentation, and just the presentment of it, the flow of it is just not. It's not what you would think it would be, right? When you read a text from somebody who's worked with themselves in the language, and they're a master of self in the language first and foremost, they don't write like that. They don't type like that in a way where it's just lacking in flow and conciseness. That's again, this is part of these folks who go to these careers, want to seem intelligent, want to add on things to it, and then want to draw out the conclusion in order to make it seem explanatory. And it's just it winds up muddying the waters. Yeah, it's technical nonsense. A lot of times,
they're sheep in a cattle gate. Really, like you said, they go get these careers, and they're done. And they're really dumbed down to just being authentic or on the flow, so to speak, as you say. No, I get it. And I like that you did. You pointed out how they go through all their shit just to get the paragraph or the optics of what the true thing is. I said I brought it to.
Yeah, well, part of it too is their explanation is, like the man said, in technical terms. They're looking at it and describing what they see is happening. Awareness is involved in that process. So if the being who's observing and reporting is not having the experience, then the language is just not. It's just not going to be as intuitive and concise as it could be. You know, if you hand that booklet over to the person having the experience, and they were able to observe themselves and conclude something, you would see that the language just be completely different, the way it'd be laid out and the flow to it. So this is why I'm not a fan of observe and report on who just observed and reported. It's like you need firsthand experience and knowledge, or else you're just observing and reporting, and there's levels to awareness with that you might not be possessing. So there's really not much point oftentimes in observing and reporting if you don't have firsthand experience with what you're observing and reporting on. Then it just becomes a bunch of technical jargon to describe a process that nobody has any clarity about what they're actually saying is happening. All right, let's move forward. What do you got, Penal Power? You got anything that interests you in this moment? Anything that kind of was brought to your attention? And a thought to another thought?
I'm considering it's probably a wise idea to buy some heavily medicated, high-dose CBD dog treats, because these demons are just they're demons, dude.
All right, so you want to dope up the dogs so you can avoid your responsibilities and obligations with them. Perfect.
Do you hear this shit, dude? I mean...
Yeah, well, they probably want to be taken out and run around. They probably don't want to be cooped the fuck up and whatever. Were they in a bucket back there?
Fucking like...
Probably like to run around. Yeah. They're tired of looking at you. They want to run around and get some exercise. You got to cooped up.
They're not mine. I don't have any dogs.
Oh, Auntie, whoever it is.
The fucking neighbor next door.
All right. Mute up while the dogs are barking.
The MILF next door. All right, move.
Great. All right, I'm going to go to Billion Dealer canceled. We're going to go a little bit backward today. Why not? Folks said that they enjoy the financial segments anyway. This is a bit sensationalized, although it's not. It is, but it's not, because we're already there, right? So this is a bullion dealer who I'll watch some of his videos from time to time. There's a couple of these guys I watch. They basically deal in silver and gold. I've told you folks that I believe silver is a valuable investment potentially, not investment advice. But this bullion dealer just got his bank account closed and canceled, and they call him a criminal. They presume he's a criminal because he's trading in lawful money. And apparently after a certain amount, they start to consider you criminals at the bank, and they shut your accounts down. So, yeah, digital experience, I guess, as the snafu creature likes to say. New World Order optics minus Hulk Hogan. So let's get to that. Go ahead.
I was going to say, before you play that video, that reminds me of that person that moved to a different country and had like $80,000 or something in their fucking bank account in a different country. But because you can't travel with a certain amount of money, it's just like here in States, if you have over 10,000 or something, they could like technically seize it or try to. But the fact is they had to, well, they did. They left the country where they're from because the bank wouldn't allow them to take their money. So they came back. They decided to live back in the States. They moved back here, and they had to just basically say, fuck. Well, they didn't, but they did. They said, fuck all that money out there. And yeah, they control the bank system, man. Fucked up.
Right.
I mean, could you imagine going to a different country making a lot of money?
Oh, I just killed my own ears with that one. I just killed my own ears with that one.
JJ, I smell Monograph is here. This is what this fat bitch is. Wee wee. You know the video.
No, that's my warthog creature. All right, let me get to it. Bullion dealer canceled, confronts bank on closed accounts, cash deposits, and CBDC. Apparently, the banker said we're all moving to digital currency. I could have told you that. Oh, wait, I did. Over 2 years ago. It's obvious.
So I must be a criminal. Anybody who deposits that kind of cash must be a criminal, and they must be stopped. And the answer was, yeah, it's more probably a move to digital currency. Now, this is a banker. And I said, okay, well, if we don't have any cash and a central government computer is doing everybody's transactions, what do we need banks for? Didn't answer.
The worst day on Wall Street since the crash of 1987.
We're now down 43%.
This could be the most serious recession in decades.
Protect your retirement with a gold and silver IRA. Learn more at stbullion.com/IRA. I've asked Tim to join me in studio to talk about something that just recently went down. In fact, today when I went into your shop, you're like, Yankee, we need to talk and we need to do it live. So I need to come into your studio. You received a notice in the mail, and we're going to review that notice. I want to ask you what happened. I'm going to ask you why you think it happened. And then we're going to get into the meaning of it. I want you to go through this letter. In fact, I'm going to put it up on the screen so people can follow along as you read it.
That's fine.
Does that sound good?
Yeah. I deposited a lot of cash. I mean, sometimes very large amounts of cash. And in a world that we don't know anything about, that collusion between the banking community and the government, they have things called suspicious activity reports.
SARS.
And if I deposit, or if somebody, let's back up. If somebody brings $10,000 of cash into my store and they're buying gold with it, or silver, they would have to fill out the 8300 paperwork. And anybody who's curious can go look at Form 8300 IRS. And it is a detail of all your information and the store that accepted all this cash and exactly what the cash was. And of course, you have to put the person who gave you the cash has put his social security number down, etc. At one time, you had to put how many ones, fives, tens, 20s, but they don't do that anymore.
Okay.
Because most people just say, I think it was all hundreds. But every time I go to the bank with $10,000 or more in cash, whatever entry they make in the computer is kind of like a suspicious activity report or an Form 8300, because I'm depositing more than $10,000. I think at one time I've given them $100,000.
See, I told you.
I'm giving them $50,000 or around that amount. All these deposits I've been making have been generating some sort of report, and it goes to the IRS. It's done, right on my account on the computer. This particular bank doesn't care that I'm one of their biggest depositors. They don't care.
How long have you been with them?
Oh, let's see. I opened up this account 46 years ago.
Oh, my word.
That's long before TD Bank came to New Hampshire.
Did you say TD Bank?
I did. Yeah. Well, that's the fellow who signed the letter. His name, it said sincerely, Mr. TD Bank. I think he must be an official with the bank. Maybe this just is a form letter I got from the bank.
You think?
Maybe. Yeah, I think it's just a form letter, and it's very nice. It's actually, it's really warm and understanding.
Actually, would you read it for us and maybe even comment as you see fit as you go through it?
Well, it's written to me. It says, "Dear customer, we appreciate the importance of keeping you informed when it comes to your banking. On an ongoing basis, TD reviews all of its customer relationships as part of our approach to managing our business. As a result of recently conducted review, we have determined that we can no longer continue to support your existing accounts and or services. We have considered this matter very carefully, and our decision was not arrived at lightly." Really? Take that with a grain of salt. And then it says, another nice way of putting it, your TD bank accounts will be closed on March 4th, 2024, 30 days from the date of this notice.
So much for the niceties, pleasantries.
Really nice. Yeah. And it says here, for information about our right to close accounts at our discretion, please refer you to your TD Bank account business deposit account agreements.
Ooh.
And I just looked at them, and it says,
you checked it out?
yeah, because it says, for information about our right to close these accounts at our discretion, blah, blah. So I went there, and basically it says, we reserve the right to close accounts at our discretion. That was a good explanation. That's kind of the meat of the whole story, yeah. And it says outlined below is a list of your accounts. There's actually 3 of them.
Now, obviously, they can claim whatever they want, but they don't inherently have a right to deny a service when they're a service provider based off of discrimination. Right? So obviously, if the man is not involved in unlawful activity, it is not legal, nor is it lawful to deny him service and to close his accounts of 46 years based on a suspicious activity report. This is the antithesis of the law of this land. That is pure fascism. It's right out of the Third Reich. Well, suspicious activity report was generated, so we're going to close you down and interfere with your livelihood and your business, which is all legal, lawful. And he's paying slave tax. So it's never enough for these people, it seems. They want it all.
But they missed one.
They missed one.
Yeah, I have their credit card service.
He missed the credit card service.
I think I'll be moving that to another bank. Somebody who appreciates the business. You may close your deposit accounts before the.
No, they didn't miss the credit card account. They have no problem with everybody living on credit. So even in that action, they're kind of revealing to him what they're all about, right? We're going to close your bank accounts because you're moving a ton of cash. We know that you're trading in lawful money, gold and silver, but we'll leave your credit account open. They got no problem with you living on credit and paying them interest for merely existing.
Dirty. By presenting this letter at any TD Bank location, at that time, we will present you with a check for any account balances. I was considering, maybe getting together a few key sales in the business to the wholesalers and then giving them a really big check to give me. I figured out the details of that because I only have until the 26th of February to stop making deposits.
Did you say something?
Yeah, I was going to just also mention, just before we get way past it, he also mentioned the 10K thing, that once you have over 10,000, you're basically on a watch list. And what's crazy is think of everything that cost over 10K, your home, your land, even vehicles. Like, that's so fucked up. So it's kind of like that.
Right. And it's not sensationalism when we come here day after day and speak to someone out there, right? Because that's the nature of a broadcast, is 95% of folks could have heard it all already and even done something different. There might be a small percentage of folks out there who need to hear certain things in order to do something different or go to the next level. We know that's true about all of us, right? At times we need to experience or see or hear something different to change our perspective or go to the next level. So like the man Travis down there says, this has becoming a all too common theme as time goes on. And, it's cliche at this point, right? There's only so many times I can loop on rights, freedom, principles, spiritual faith, and the idea of securing one's own rights and beingness, property being an extension of your beingness. So, yeah, it's definitely a reformation time, a reordering time, I would say, for all of us to create value in different ways than what we're used to and to move that value into different venues and arenas than what we're used to. Because the cash situation is not looking good. The credit situation is not looking good. The inflation situation, the economic situation, if you just want to be broad about it, right? And they're going to tell you, oh, we're cutting rates and we're doing this and we're doing that and we got the inflation under control. Ridiculous. It's a completely insolvent scenario. Okay, so the Great Reset is as such for a reason, because they know, like I know, this is an insolvent, dissolute situation. And we're going to have to move over to something else. So Bitcoin and digital currencies right on time. And what did the SEC say in a very cryptic yet revealing statement? I believe, can't prove. Well, we're allowing the Bitcoin ETF to go through, but please don't take this as a sanctioning of Bitcoin, the SEC says. We're not supporting Bitcoin. We don't approve of it. We're just allowing certain folks like BlackRock and Vanguard to get all their hands on it. So when the SEC says we don't support it, it's not going to be what we're going to use. And please don't take this as a misunderstanding. We're just going to let the biggest criminals ever get their hands on all of the supply of it. Right. I wonder what they're going to do with it at some point. So obvious to me, right? If I'm going to theorize, yeah, they're going to run the numbers up. They're going to make a whole bunch of money off of FOMO, now pushing it on the mainstream level. And then they're going to rug pull the shit out of everybody a year and a half from now. And they're going to move everything over with their policy writers to a currency that'll be beneficial for them first and foremost, that they'll give you plenty of to make you feel like you're doing great in life. That's what I suspect is going to happen. Can't prove it. And I have really no basis of facts to go on. Everything is based off of what they're showing me indirectly, right? I don't have any paper written up to prove that. I'm going on what they're showing and planning for and speaking and what it seems to be transitioning to, right? This digital currency is not going away. It's going to take over everything. And it's not because it's going to be the best thing ever to save us from the corrupt monetary system. I believe it's going to take us deeper down the rabbit hole, one way or the other. But for a time, it's going to be great.
I got a great clip to confirm what you're saying here. BlackRock CEO says corporations must work harder to force people to change behaviors. It's an extremely short clip.
Right.
If you want to run it.
All right. Where is it at?
It's on the bottom. I added it to the studio. You just got to add my.
Okay.
It's like 10 seconds.
Things are going to have to change, and this is one thing we're asking companies. You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock we are forcing behaviors.
Right.
Right. Okay. That's pretty
to the point.
Straight to the point. Yeah. So here at BlackRock, we encourage all corporations to do what we do, which is force slaves to behave how we want them to. Yeah, I mean, first you incite them and entice them in, and you give them a bunch of benefits and privileges and run-ups, and then you rug pull and move over to another system. Great.
You were speaking of currency too. It reminded me of the quasi-currency. I just put the link in your back. Remember when they made currency for planets and for space? So like they already have this currency that people are making to get it like patented, developed, marketed it out, digital currency. And
your boy Elon 2 weeks ago said that he's going to bring Dogecoin to the moon and put a Dogecoin on the moon.
Yeah,
they're in full stockbroker promotion marketing mode to really scam the slaves. And then Elon had to give like the legal proviso. He goes, "I really like Dogecoin, but don't buy it." And then he like gave this look. Like we know what he's doing. He knows that we know that when he talks about something, it pumps incessantly, especially when he puts his brand around it and all of his constituency.
Hey, I know Mitch didn't like this, but we watched it on OTWs. But did you see that shit where Dana White walked the fuck out on Howie Mandel? That shit was hilarious, actually.
I heard about that. I didn't see that. You threw it back there.
Especially you being a broadcaster doing your podcast, like what it takes to get guests on some of those people. Mr. Wes Watson, 10K, or whatever, or 100, whatever the fuck he said. Dude, Dana White literally sat in for like 20 seconds. And I don't know, some people are called propaganda game, but I think it's deeper because they are fucking splitting ties with that elitist Hollywood, even the bigger ones, like you said. The ones I call.
So where's the clip at?
The Dana
Where's
White
the clip
one?
at?
I'll send it to you too.
Yeah, I mean that's why you don't gamble like that. That's why you don't clout chase and try to get people on your broadcast simply because of a name and a reputation, because it could go bad on you any moment. So, if you want to get Dana White on there just because he's Dana White, don't be surprised when he acts like Dana White and you wind up looking like a bozo. Your thoughts, Mitchell? I noticed that you appeared. Did I?
Well, I'm on contractual obligation to be here. I'm now a paid agent. So
you're a paid agent now at this point?
Yeah.
Okay, can I ask who you're working for?
I'm working for the people.
He's also gone pro bono now too. He's also non-pro bono and
Listen,
agent.
don't
but-
bring his sex life into this. I don't want to know about pro bono.
Hey,
so
I did put that link in there, and you know what's funny? You said that because it just happened recently too. Is that fucking Aiden Ross kid on YouTube? These big pogo fucks. He paid that rapper X or Lil Nas or whatever the fuck it was, some rapper dude, and the rapper fucking took like what was it, 3 million? They said 5 million, and just like basically hung out, weirdest shit, weird stream, 5-10 minutes, bailed the fuck out, and it was a big deal. But no, this Dana White clip is funny, and just look, and it was real. You could tell, and I think even the elitists of elitists in broadcasting go against each other right now. I told you
right,
there's
someone
be
down there, I think, is onto something, and I'm going to go ahead and go on a limb and say, based on Mitchell's presentment and his very effeminate, soft-looking skin, he looks like he's in transition. So I'm thinking he's here under Chaz Bono circumstances, not pro bono, which is similar but not the same.
Could be.
How's the transition going? All right, he's not answering. Let's move on.
I think you should let his hair down and tell us about the transition if it's happening.
My life is transitioning great.
Hey, for real, if you're out there listening, Chaz, Mr. Bono, Mrs., whatever, shout out to you, sir, ma'am, damn it, whatever.
Mr. Bono, okay? And no, not the guy from U2 either. Get it right. Mr. Bono.
You know what's funny is Brian O'Shea.
Imagine Penal Power meets Chaz Bono. Goes, hi, Mr. Bono. How are you?
What's your preferred pronouns, sir? Ma'am, God damn it, what is it? What do I do? What do I do here?
And Brian
you're out.
O'Shea's
Penal Power, you're out.
Mitch.
All right, I don't know.
Is it true you're Chad Bono, not pro bono though? I'm confused.
I'm neither. I'm Mitch.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on, Snafu, please. I'm teasing him, and you're dragging it out more than necessary.
Well,
I'm playing off the fact that they called him Michelle the other day.
Think about hiring.
Yeah, now that Wizard's not here, who's gonna call you Mitch, bitch, snitch? I mean, Wizard, man, come on, we need you back, dude.
Well, Wizard's back all of a sudden today. He's apparently gotten over. He's got out of his feelers. He thought better of it. He realized he loves Daddy. People catch shit. I catch shit all the time with people. They break bad on me, a day, an hour, a day, a week, a month, a year. At some point, they realize, I wasn't that bad. He's not that bad. He's got an edge to him. He's a bit of an asshole, but through and through, he's a loving, honorable man. They know
Is
that.
that Mr. Fingerbang Joe Cool? Another African American has arrived.
Please, with the Joe Cool references, okay? Stop. Why do you have to keep bringing up unimportant people? Like, you have this skill of you're able to somehow remind us of, in the moment when we're not thinking about them, the most unimportant, inconsequential, irrelevant people. It's like you have a list of them next to you.
I like that.
Yeah, like Joe Cool's even down there. Even he's laughing at it. He goes, why are you bringing up my name? I have no relevance to this conversation. I'm completely unimportant and inconsequential in any of this. Well, the only thing that we know Joe Cool for is chasing around white cops, getting in their face. And that's what the fuck we should know him for. If I could really be frank about it. Or Hank, excuse me.
He's also known on some level for chasing around white cop auditors' girlfriends and stealing their wife. I mean,
listen, don't bring up my experiences on this panel.
And
all right, I didn't want to talk about that.
Stealing white cop. I better stop.
Doesn't he give finger banging lessons to the masses too? Didn't I learn that today?
Yeah, Joe Cool is the finger bang fucking dude. But
insanely creepy. Yeah, Joe Cool has very long, disconcerting ET-like fingers that are very scary to look at. The way that he he'll go like this and move them and shake them. And they're like very long, gangly.
You know how ET's fingers like lit up? Do you think Joe Cool's fingers light up like little ET and it like bing?
Yeah, every time he sees a white woman, he gets the finger light up routine going, like a mood ring. Finger lights up like a mood ring.
African American dude. You got some optics to him.
I guess it's only right, huh?
To make him a mod? Since he's African
Well,
American?
no, I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess so. I wasn't even really thinking of that.
Enslavia.
Yeah, he is an African American.
American mods. But that just means he
That
has
is
to
true.
rain down to the sire, to the king. You know?
No, I mean, it's
And
only
he-
right that we get into an appropriate clip for this.
You know, Joe Cool might actually be David Icke with those fingers. Now that I think about it.
Oh, God, no. Please, please make it stop. No more chats with Jack. Oh, wait. Huh? That's not Jack. What? That must be Joe Cool. Joe, I need your help.
That dude does some shit like this. For the first half of the video, I'm thinking surely he generated quotes. No way he found that shit for real.
Joe Cool.
But he put the whole thing together.
Call upon your capacity for chaotic convulsion and get me out of here. Start of diagnostics and systems checks complete. Joe Cool, you are clear for ignition.
God damn it, Paul.
In T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm a G, fool. Recognize.
See that? ET finger?
Oh, yeah.
I do it every day. I do it every day. Nigga, I do it every day. I do it every day. Get it. Get it. Do it every day. Do it every day.
That fucking mirror is so creepy.
No. Wait, you got to wrestle?
That's what he told me. He says he's going to arrest me for being on the
You're
sidewalk.
not arresting nothing, bro. All right, you're not arresting nothing. No. What? Now, what?
What you gonna do now? Look at me, fool. Look at me. Look at me when you die. I can do this all
God
day.
damn it, Paul.
You ain't balling now, huh? You ain't balling now. Oh, I'm a maniac. I can't be stopped.
What? I do it every day. Day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I do it every day. Get it.
Holy.
I think Paul was like so funny.
Now, what? Now, do it every day.
With the creepy ceiling mirror from Dollar Tree.
Major hype.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's a white Joe Cool running around trying to take over the black Joe Cool daddy, but finger banging ET finger Joe Cool will always be the African American Joe Cool we know.
Joe Cool is a bit goofy sometimes and confused, but I do still like him, and I think he has a good heart. So, whatever that's worth.
But he's not
All
African
right,
American.
let's. What now?
He's not African American.
No, he's American. He's just black.
That's right.
American.
Yeah, we're gonna simplify the shit out of this. We're all American. He just happens to be a black American. If that works for him.
He'll tell you.
He's not even really black. I mean, technically, it's kind of brown. So brown American. We're gonna be technical.
I thought it was like tannish, like a tannish color.
Copper.
All right, let's move on.
I don't know why
optics
I
high.
don't see. Yep. Go ahead, Dad.
What do you got, Christos? Go ahead, spit it out, man.
Nah, it was just gonna be a corny joke for real. Don't worry about it. Snafu was gonna see. I was letting Snafu get me into the wrong direction there. That's why I had to
It's
yield.
not
That's
the
all I
wrong
was about
direction. We
to
got
do.
a white fucking Joe Cool running around with this fat fucking bitch that's on my icon. Trying to act like doing something. The real black.
Snafu, your agent thing, your chaos agent thing right now.
American.
Snafu, please.
It's a real Joe Cool.
It was funny on OTWs.
Yeah, you're becoming an agent of chaos rather quickly. Ramping up.
I want
Cool
to
it
say it's Joe
down.
Cool's fault.
No, let's get some water on the reactors. Let's cool it down. Okay? Throw some water on the coils, cool it
Just
down.
when white Joe Cools are acting like they're the copper Joe Cools, I'm a little upset, Daddy.
Oh, all
We
I
do
was
this
gonna
every
say
day,
is why.
Snafu.
I was gonna be like, why don't I see him over on Big Dog Philly OG's channel?
No idea what that means. You were better off not saying it. You were right. Go with your first instinct.
I was.
Well, I had to prove the point, right? So yeah, confirmed. Thank you.
I was confused by OTW's thumbnail today. It did with Joe Cool wearing blonde hair made him look like he was wearing whiteface. I didn't even recognize him, but it was just Joe Cool's face. So, but now I know.
Yeah, I don't know what he's up to over there. Like it's kind of cool, but also creepy. Those face melding things he's doing.
OZW. That's just
Yeah,
crazy.
it's interesting, but I don't know if I completely support it.
His
You can even see
OTW
Z's
Trump one,
hunch.
though. He has that Trump OTW one though that looks very OTW Trumpy.
All right, let's move forward, Snafu Snaps. We got the Grim Hustle. If you want to get rich, become immune to money. And we got breaking slave news, and I got a stack of fucking cops shooting citizen slaves. And Joseph says I might not want to keep showing those videos. He says it's
Can we do
off-putting
the
to
cop?
regular. Hello?
I said the cop shooting
Is
slaves.
that a reverb or something? Let me check the back settings. I might have reverb on. Yeah, Joseph says don't show the cop shooting citizen slaves because it's off-putting to new viewers. And I had to remind him that everything about me is off-putting to new viewers. So if you're gonna go to that, then we got a list of other things we're gonna have to address of why regular, normal, new people would not be coming here and or staying here.
He sounds like a cupcake. I'm gonna find you a good video, Daddy.
Well, he meant well. He meant well, right? He's like, hey, bro. Yeah, he had a whole paragraph comment on the video last night. Hey, maybe we stop showing cops shooting citizen slaves because it seems like it's kind of off-putting with no context. I go, what's the context? Cops shooting citizen slaves. What more context do you need? You know, he's looking for more. I'm looking to do less. He's looking for more. It's very Talcottian. It's Taoist. It's Talcottian. Why do you keep yelling and screaming over and under me? It's very obnoxious and abrasive. No, don't go through sorry. Just do what is proper and necessary. We've done this enough. Did you just wait for me to stop speaking before you start?
I put that link in your backstage that you asked for.
Thank you. Thank you. You completely distracted me and what the fuck I was saying to remind me there's a link back there. That's great producing.
That's creative. I haven't heard that one yet. Dalcodian.
Yeah. It's expect more, do less. Thought that was silly at first, and now I've kind of embodied it. Dana White walks off. Okay. Napu is really into this right.
Businessman, you are an inspiration, you are a philosopher, the way you do business, the way you conduct your business and your friendships, and media is I'm jealous. But Dana, I can't thank you enough for being here.
Thank you for all the kind words. I appreciate it. I am so fucking tired of doing podcasts. I'm literally done with them. I'm not doing any more podcasts.
We have not only an amazing businessman, you are an
No, man, seemed a bit put on. Seemed a bit contrived.
Just a little,
Yeah.
right? Just a little scripted. The way they had the perfect camera shots to get the reactions of the people. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and they're in shock. He doesn't say nothing.
The cameras are running, whether it's
God, you're
propaganda
annoying.
thing or not. I think it's because we're witnessing even the
There we go.
broadcasters going through their own spiritual. Just
Christ.
like science for calls.
I can only hope.
Versus the other ones.
I can only hope Christ returns and raptures this guy out of here. Fucking snafu, man. If you want to get rich, become immune to money. Stop chasing the bag. Chase understanding. Chase becoming a value-able, authentic, honorable man. And apply that in the world. The value will chase you. Get to it. Kareem Hassel, Suki.
If you want to get rich, you have to become immune to the money. What does it mean? Number one, do not desire your own money. It turns you from a producer to a consumer, suka. Number two, do not desire the money of others. Envy is a deadly sin because it will distract you from your own mission and it will let your character rot. Number three, do not desire the money you will make in the future. Desire good work right now. You don't want cash in. You want to serve. Only this way you will get rich from zero. Trust me, it is the business model of grim hustle. Number four, do not desire the quick money. Focus on long-term business models. Once you set them up, they run and run and run. Only long-term business models will generate a passive income per ton. And finally, of course, number five, become immune to your invested money. Investments are like soap. The more you touch them, the smaller they become. Invest in honorable businesses and then forget about the money for many years. Oblivion is bliss. The path to money is the path away from the money. I'm not talking about quick money that burns up as quickly as you got it. I am talking about long-term money, about generational wealth that will make not just you rich, but your family, your clan, your bratva, your fraternity, for decades to come. Be honorable.
Yeah, that's some fucking shit.
What's that, snafu?
That's like real talk. The guy's like literally gonna like say, "Oh, hey, I'll invest like $100, but when can I pull it out?" Then you play that video. I'm like, "Well, yep, that's exactly what it is, because you got to leave that in there." And anyone who's smart knows you do. And everyone wants to invest and then take it out right away, if, you know. But that video is pretty like on point.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's short, middle, long-term investments. Obviously, typically you don't make long-term investments to touch them. So you invest what you can afford to lose or what you don't need, presumably, you know, as much as you can predict over, you know, a 5 to 10 year period. So there's certain things of value that I have that I don't plan on touching because I don't presume I will need to over a 5 or 10 year period at least. So there shouldn't be a need for that. If you're creating value regularly in yourself and in your life, there's not some extreme event that requires the majority of your capital.
So you don't believe there's like a fucking marker for a cash out and run situation on certain investments, so to speak, because I would believe certain investments are a cash out run investment in a sense because
Well, you got to have a generalized program.
For a while, you could reinvest.
Yeah, you got to have some type of a vision or a program in mind. Like if I go grab silver, I'm going to, in my head, go, well, I'm not going to touch it for 5 or 10 years at least, unless maybe it does an amazing return, right? Uncharacteristic return. If it does a 10, 20x, then yeah, I might think about taking half of my position out or my initial investment out, right? There's different ways, there's different strategies to investing. That just comes down to the personal subjective perspective, right? Like, what are you going for? What are you trying to achieve? What are you comfortable with? What's your risk tolerance? So, yeah, I mean, if you, let's say, put 10,000 into silver and it goes up 10x, maybe you take out your initial investment and maybe an extra 5 and you leave the rest, let it ride. This way, if it goes to 0 or drops down significantly, you're not at a loss. You're still up 5,000, right? So it's just really about, what you know about yourself and what you want to achieve, what your risk tolerance is, and how you quote unquote feel or don't feel about it at the end of the day, right? Again, if you're investing and you're up, then you did well.
I like how you said risk tolerance, because honestly, that's what I was gonna say. That I bet there's a lot of addiction when it comes to investors, which I know there are. It's a very addicting entrepreneurial or investor, just the style of investment, because there's so many different investments, so to speak.
Well, you are who and what you are in anything you do. So if you have addictive qualities, then you're going to bring that to anything you do, including investing. So, you're going to be emotionally married to your investments. You're going to be overly emotionally invested, holding, or trying to make the money and then tricking yourself out of value long term. So, yeah, there's different aspects of it. Sometimes you got to, like they say, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. And the best way to do that is remain neutral. Chart a course, a relative goal. Like with me, certain things I go, okay, anything past a 5 or a 10x, that's a great investment. Top hedge fund does 13% a year, they say. So even if you did 100%, if you do a 2x, you may want to take some profit. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of just about being sensible, because we can predict all day long with probabilities, but nothing is for certain. And if you're up, why not at least take out your initial investment, maybe a little bit extra, so you're ahead of the game, and then let the rest ride if you want to gamble. What's going on, Mr. Talcott? What do you want to take that call?
It's his tip line. Talcott's tip line must be going off.
Right.
Up today.
You know what? Let's go ahead and open the Talcott tip line. What the hell? It's been a while.
That would be really interesting.
Text lines open for Q&A and relationship talk or comments on the Talcott tip line. Go ahead and call that number or send in a text message right now, and it will be read by, of course, Jack Talcott himself, acclaimed speaker, orator, life coach, and UN delegate proposed at some point.
These are amazing segments. The Talcott tip line, Mr. Snowball Walnuts, is usually on point, and he doesn't disappoint. He will read them all. He will take your call. He will get down to the gritty.
Okay, just some advice: run the fuck away from snafu snaps. You might end up guilty by association. No, you're not going to do ultimatums, and you're not going to threaten me indirectly. I will not be considered guilty by association. If you have claims made by snafu snaps, and you want to address them, then you will address them with him. I will not be deemed guilty by association for entertaining his nonsense and or his criticism and or his entertaining expose, as he puts it. Right? I've not made any claims about anybody here objectively. I've not caused any loss, injury, or harm. I've not defamed anyone or slandered anyone. So,
absolutely, buddy. Absolutely.
So yeah, if anybody has any, excuse me, if anybody has any issues with snafu snaps, they can take it up with him directly. And if they need that to be done in a courtroom setting or venue, feel free to do so. There's no point in talking about it on here. See, I suspect a lot of you folks who keep threatening with lawsuits, you love the drama. And if you go to court, the administration is rather quickly going to become aware of the same thing I've become aware of, that you're not a resolute being. You're not a being of good faith and honorability and reconciliation. You love the drama and you're pretending to be victimized. If you didn't like what Snafu Snaps was doing and saying, it's very simple. Stop speaking to him. Stop speaking about him. Stop coming here to interact with him and listen to what he's putting forth. Unless you have any damages you can show, any lost injury or harm, any lost wages as a result of his claims, then you're fighting a no-win battle here. You're just exposing yourself to be a bunch of drama queens online. Snafu Snaps has little to no power at the end of the day. He can speak what he presumes to be true. If you claim he's non-credible, then you shouldn't care what he has to say, because he is, of course, non-credible and disreputable. See how it makes no sense what you folks keep doing and saying? I think you love the game. I think you love the drama. I think you have little to nothing else to do with your life other than get on here and pretend to be some righteous, indignant victim of Snafu Snap's continual nonsense. Grow up, get a fucking clue, move on with yourself and your life, or you will be deemed, most likely at court, to be dishonorable and bad faith. I don't care what attorney you come up with, because it would only take me 5 minutes to show who and what you were, despite what you'd have to say and present. See how that works? Do you notice there's a list of folks constantly making false claims about me, constantly demeaning me, constantly slandering and doing defamation? Potentially have even caused losses to me when it comes to finances. Have I continued to persecute them or assail them? Have I continued to play the victim and complain? Or if I just rolled with the punches, have fun, and move on with my life and my broadcast? I think you should do the same. It'll be a lot better for you and everyone else instead of continuing this draining cycle, pretending to be a victim and pretending to have suffered some losses at the hands of Snafu Snaps. What does that make you exactly? If Snafu Snaps is non-credible and retarded and disreputable, and him merely just talking online is enough to affect you in your life, what does that make you exactly? I'll give you some time to go think about it. Come back to me with an answer. Aluma Tranny is down there now. They must be coming out of the woodwork. He hasn't gotten some attention from me in a while. He's too busy making constant videos about me, talking about me incessantly, but he hasn't gotten any daddy's attention lately. So he must be hungry for that, or he's hungry for some inspiration for his next broadcast he's going to do. So he'll come up here, he'll try to monopolize, he'll talk like a clown or a moron, make little to no sense, project his emotional nonsense onto me. Then when I throw him out, invariably, he'll go off and do his broadcast with a fit of rage and passion so he can really vent and take it all out on me that I didn't let him monopolize my broadcast from the beginning of its inception. Right? I know I was so bad and wrong for telling Tom, just go start a channel and do a broadcast, because I'm not interested in you trying to monopolize mine every time you come here and taking it off on some non sequitur jag. Okay. Illuma Slavery is here now. Let's put up the wall. How are you, Illuma Slavery?
When have I ever cammed up to do something you would need the thing for?
A couple times you showed guns and played games.
What got you back to this loop of raging? I just got here. Forgive me. I just got here. I'm hardly ever here. What has you on this tirade?
Oh, look at the symbology he's using. The pedo pogo.
That's for you.
Okay, I'm not going to do this. He's speaking to me. I'm tired of getting a headache on this broadcast every day. Please know when to speak and not speak, Snafu. It's not that difficult. He's addressing me, and you're cutting right in because there was a second of dead air. So there is no rage.
He has the pedo pogo symbology.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Yeah.
It's the same thing over and over again ad nauseum.
Z's on that now too. That's why I'm going to hit Z pretty hard. So what?
Right. So it seems to be. I'm not on a rage loop right now, and I wasn't even speaking about you. I don't even know how we got onto you. I guess
that's why I'm asking. I'm legit asking you. Why are you flipping the fuck out?
I'm not flipping the fuck out. I don't know what makes you think I'm flipping the fuck out.
On, you're losing your shit, whether you realize it or not.
Again, I'm really not interested in what your perspective is of who and what
That's how you dodge everything.
I'll see you later, Tom. I'm not interested in your perspective about who and what I am and how I present myself. If you want to characterize this as me losing my shit, you're free to do so. Losing your shit is what you do nightly for 4 to 6 hours a night, ranting and raving and gossiping and hating and talking about everyone you've ever bumped into on Metaverse and relating it back to me every 5 minutes. That's you, right? Where's my Talcott when I need him? That's you.
That's you.
Right. Stop projecting that onto me. Okay. And now he's down. Now, there you go, Tom. You got what you needed. Go on over to your horrible live broadcast to 20 people, all haters of me. You guys don't know what else to do now. Right. And you can use what just happened here as your source of inspiration, as you've had many times before, to do a really fired up, not losing your shit broadcast. Right. Because that's me doing that. Hold on. Let's go over. You know what? Let's take a look at Illuma Slavery's last piece of work here, because I'm losing my shit. To the back, Alpha Creature. I'm sorry I had to remove you, but you just don't stop. Thoughts, panel. In the meantime,
my whole thing is the optics, right? And I just don't get why. Here we go again. Jesus Christ. I don't get the logo thing. Like, is he? I don't get it. Like, if it's so you're trying to trigger, I'm guessing, but like, I don't know. I don't get it, dude. I don't get it.
Oh, I said, stand down, sir. Let me rock this fool. And I don't remember how that day finished out. No, it might come to me sometime, but just telling the story right now, I don't remember how it finished out. But I do know once I knew that was his dad, the first time a bunch of old boomers were trying to push back together with Paul's dad. It was Talcott, Paul's dad, other boomers push
talking
back
about my
against Paul,
father.
about
Anywhere you
Trump
go,
and
it's just
market
constantly about
business
me.
and how it had to be a thing, to be a corrupted thing. Paulie's doing his Paulie thing, and he dropped me in there, Paulie. I mean, thanks for that move. And I never saw your father's face glow with pride that I used to see in my dad's face occasionally if I cared to seek it. I saw pride in my father's face, and it would blow warmer because that's a rare occasion. Let's try and make the old man like me today. I've been kind of hard on him for like breaking boards over me. That's give and take. Your father's face has never relaxed to a warm, proud glow to you on these panels, like it did as this guy that at first you were training him not to like me. I now remember you kicked me, and you said, that's that guy I told you about. And then you and your dad went in, and you're like, hey, that guy's the guy, this guy I told you about. And you're going, oh, so I popped in the next time he'd see me, is just wrecking your ass on Trump compared to leftist. I mean, it's theater, but it is a functioning thing that will play out and won't change the grand scheme. We could all probably get a little more time on this freedom, a little more game that we like, if it's all theater, the way we'd like to comfortably see it go, to get a breather.
Right. So that's you, Tom, every night about me, my father, everything you've ever experienced with me, because you have a fatal attraction crush on me, losing your shit day after day to 30 to 40 live viewers because you have no other content, no other firsthand experiences that are interesting or exciting or valuable, and no other understanding, information, or philosophy that's going to help anybody out in their life. So you pretty much have little to no value on here, except for a bunch of other middle-aged, broken folks, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, who have little to no hobbies, friends, family, or options for mates, much like you. So I'm going to go ahead and put you in timeout because you're down there spurging out as you always do. You can't get away from me and stay away from me. It doesn't matter if I stay away from you, let you do videos about me every day, every other day, consistently for months. You can't stay away. You can't go away and stay away. You always have to come back to me, and you always need something from me and with me, but you claim to be against me and exposing me. Very strange behavior. All right, let's move forward here. Enough of the constant retardation and nonsense from all the broken addicts online. It's coming. Sheriff Echoes warning on terror threats facing U.S. homeland. So it's like, 3 weeks in a row, they keep rolling this narrative out. They must be planning for something. It's been quiet, right? It's been quiet lately. We're due for something.
With the crisis at the border worsening every single day, FBI Director Christopher Wray spoke with a group of sheriffs, reportedly saying that when it comes to a terror attack, it's not a matter of if, It's a matter of when.
Great.
As new border numbers show, 49 suspected terrorists were arrested at the southern border in fiscal year 2024 and 19 in just December alone. Our next guest was at that National Sheriff's Conference, Butler County Sheriff Richard Jones, and he joins us now. Sheriff, what kind of message was sent to other sheriffs and local chiefs when the commander-in-chief said, I'm not going to meet with you?
Listen, it was the Chiefs Association throughout the whole country. He wouldn't meet with them. They've been trying to meet with him, the national sheriffs, for 3 years. It sent the message that he doesn't care. This is in the heartland. I want to repeat that. This is in the heartland. Sheriffs representing your communities where people live every day. President refuses to meet with us, and we've been trying for 3 years. And with the crime, the uptick in the crime, the terrorists coming across. But listen, this isn't just, when you mentioned the 40 terrorists that they captured, it's the gotaways that are carrying these duffel bags. And what are they carrying? And when you listen to the director of the FBI, he told the exact same thing to Congress. You can Google it online. You can find it. He said this is the most red flags from the government of China that are attacking our infrastructure every single day. They attack our infrastructure at our sheriff's office 5 times a day. The Chinese do. The Iranians are attacking it 3 times. They're attacking, and we've been.
So now we have this Republitard with the perfect outfit and hat coming out to let us know it's the Iranians and Chinese doing everything bad and wrong. They're attacking our boys in blue 3 to 5 times a day at their offices while they're sitting around eating donuts, preparing to go out and shoot the next citizen slave who's unarmed. Did you believe this shit? They're the real enemy. See, a lot of you folks, you were starting to be demonized. You were starting to demonize policy enforcement and government. You were starting to feel like disenchanted with policy enforcement and government because you thought it was them doing all the bad, wrong shit that you were paying for. No, it's the Chinese and Iranians. See, Mitchell? That you were upset for a while about policy enforcement, statute and code, fascism, and what it appeared the government was doing till you found out today that it's the Chinese and Iranians.
Yeah. Did you see the fugitive squirrel sparking off a shootout with the arrested?
Yeah, I played it here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got it the day it came out, and then I got the report the next day because they said I didn't hear any shots, and they said no, it was falling acorns.
Yeah. And then the Kansas City shooting, that was weird. A lot of weird things around that. Like,
yeah, I guess we're not gonna we're not gonna mention that the whole infrastructure is basically propped up by China at this point, while he claims they're taking it down. Go ahead, continue.
I was just gonna say 20 people injured between the age of like 6 and 15. Pineal can run those numbers, but
yeah, we covered that. Another mass shooting, and it was trans related, I believe. There's so many of them because they cover so many of these stories. It all melts together. But there was a trans element, I believe, a colored element, a racial element, and a gun element. So it was the trifecta.
Nobody was talking about Taylor Swift's little girlfriend throwing up the devil horns, and I don't know who that. She was probably someone rich and famous. I don't know these people, but that girl with the yellow hair, the black woman, yellow hair.
Oh, I don't know anything about that. Something must be done about China and Iran. That's all I know. Okay.
Yeah, well, the Super Bowl is what I'm talking about. So, you know, it was
the Ohio sheriff says we just have to make sure we're prepared for the terrorist threat. So, could you please prepare?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Let's move forward. We got 2 teens intentionally run down by BC driver. Police say. I'm guessing that's somewhere out in Canada.
Yeah, that's the province I'm in.
From the end of the street, 3 teens running for their lives. A car comes into frame, chasing at high speed. We're stopping the audio here. so you can't hear the screams. Nearly 20 minutes later,
All right, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be okay.
one child is wheeled away on a stretcher. This happened around 3 p.m. Wednesday at Karlsruhe Avenue and Victoria Street. Police say 2 victims, who were teenagers, suffered minor injuries. A third teen wasn't hurt.
You can kill someone like a show like that. It can be your kid, her kid, anybody's kid here, right?
Intentionally using a vehicle to as a weapon is something that we do not tolerate here.
Security camera footage shows an adult man being led away by paramedics. Police say the driver stayed at the scene and was arrested.
It's unbelievable that a driver ran over somebody, like a kid, just like that.
The question now is what could possibly lead up to this. Investigators say there was some kind of argument and that the teens may have been knocking on doors and running away.
We have heard reports that there was a possibility that they were playing Nicky Nine Doors. Yet, because we still have to talk to some witnesses, we can't confirm that as a fact.
On the video, one of the teens is heard crying and saying it was a harmless prank.
I don't think there's ever a reason to do that to kids, especially when they look that young.
The car drove off the street, chasing the teens up a walkway, stopping just meters away from a playground. By Thursday afternoon, city crews were installing a bollard at the entrance to prevent vehicles driving into this area again.
All right, Alyssa Tipo joins us now live from the scene. As we saw in
I love when they have to like do something just to make the slaves feel safe. They're like, okay, we came out and installed a metal piece of pipe. Everything's going to be okay now. This will never happen again.
Has anyone heard it called Nicky Nine Doors before?
No, I never heard that one. These are these Canadians with their ridiculous sayings.
I was going to say it's very much like the conversation Mitch was having with Timmy earlier about the kids pushing a button and how adults respond to kids pushing a button. You know, like it's insane. Then I don't even see how those kids got on the street to run away. Like why they weren't like running up to a house door where the house, you know, like, but obviously they were running and got down an alley and that's where the car accident occurred. It's just, that's fucking nuts. But
I mean, those teenagers weren't too bright either, trying to run away from a car by running down the middle of the road. I mean,
exactly. That's what
all you have to do is just take a hard left or right on any.
Yeah. So I'm going to call it anti-Canadian propaganda, or evidential, or just straight up. That's how dumb we are up here.
All right, well, forget about that. We got more shit we need to be afraid of because the Mexican cartels, according to the news, are coming back more than ever, and they're targeting 6 Native American reservations in Montana. Now, being the man that I am, I'm savvy enough to know not to insult the cartels. It just never ends well for you. So I don't believe this story, okay? Because I don't believe the news anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and say it's not the cartels. It's the B system masters somehow riling these folks up, doing something to them, and then pretending it's Mexican cartels doing it. They need another enemy is what I'm saying. We need a new enemy, a familiar enemy, an enemy that can like get people wrapped up into policy, statute, and code. And I think we're going to use the Mexican cartel for this one. It's looking like to me. So
I've met a few
I'm not
cartel-
buying. Go ahead.
My
No, you
bad.
haven't. Yeah, no, you
I
haven't.
have.
You
Yes, I
haven't. You haven't.
Yeah, I have.
I'm trying to
Down-
help you out here. You haven't. Okay, you have. Whatever.
Down in Arizona. Yeah, no, I
Great,
have.
keep going.
I know, but I know what you're saying.
No, but you don't know.
But I don't know them. I ran into them, and they actually helped me with my truck. And they're really cool people.
All right, these folks are really handy. They're not up to what everyone says they're up to. Okay, so I don't know what this cartel is you speak of. I met a few Mexicans here and there. They're good with their hands, and they have large backpacks, which I can only suppose they're keeping tools in. Okay, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's move forward. Folks are really into fixing shit and doing service. Okay, fucking Mitchell's going to come here and insult the fucking cartel. Idiot. They say they're targeting 6 Native American reservations. I don't believe it. Let's hear their bullshit.
The Blackfeet Reservation in northern Montana is beautiful and vast. It is also awash in fentanyl.
It's
as if fentanyl is raining on our reservation. That I'll do anything to help.
Marvin Weatherwax Jr. is a tribal leader here and says much of the drug activity on his reservation stems from Mexican cartels selling to community.
I just want to be clear. I don't accept that narrative. That's fake news. These there's no cartel. These Mexicans are very good people. Okay? Very good people.
Members and using their homes, often in remote areas, as distribution hubs.
Amazing people.
Infiltrated our reservation.
Excellent people.
Amazing
people.
Basically set up
Clean
shop.
up, please.
It's just a problem that won't go away.
Tell me what happens at night.
It's like a switch turns off and there's a whole different population takes over.
Federal law enforcement officials tell NBC News one of the most dangerous Mexican drug cartels, Sinaloa, once run by the notorious El Chapo, now in part by his sons, is targeting Blackfeet and the state's 6 other reservations with a steady flow of drugs, including fentanyl.
What brought you up here?
This is a rare glimpse into that trade. A Sinaloa cartel member pulled over by police on one of the reservations during one of his many trips up from Mexico.
Are you from around here? Or you got a passport? Mexico. Mexico, yeah.
Ultimately, he and 2 other Sinaloa cartel members were convicted of bringing drugs and cash into Montana, resulting in one of the biggest drug busts in the state's history. He was sentenced to 8 years in prison. Over 700,000 fentanyl pills were seized as part of the case, according to Montana's U.S. Attorney, Jesse Laskovich.
Right. The only problem is you can't have people getting fentanyl unless they're willing to receive it, which means they're trying to buy it, which means they want it. That's kind of the issue, right? It's the supply and demand issue. I have looked into, because I suspected at one time that Aluma Tranny was a member of the Blackfoot tribe, because of course he has black feet. Turned out he was just gross. He's not a Native American. We just got the report back. Your thoughts on any of that, Mitchell?
Yeah, I think I'll reserve them for now.
All right, let's move forward. Cashier wanted man arrested after Gwinnett County police say 2 employees staged a robbery. Man, these fucking slaves are desperate and stupid.
Of an armed robbery at a Duluth gas station turned into much more when police actually saw video of it and figured out the whole thing was a fake. Channel 2's Gwinnett County Bureau Chief Matt Johnson live on Buford Highway for us. And Matt, police say 2 employees were actually working together.
Huh.
Police say there were already holes in these 2 men's story, but once they saw really kind of put things in perspective, on top of the cameras that were inside, police say there are also city cameras outside that they say showed the supposed robber changing clothes before he spoke with police. Duluth police say everything you're seeing in this video
What an idiot.
is staged, from the fake punch to the careful collapse to the then supposed robber leaving the gas station with cash. When the employee starts moving again a minute later, it takes nearly 30 minutes for him to call 911. Hey, you all right? Duluth police showed up, and the clerk told him someone with a weapon just knocked him unconscious.
He has a knife in the pen.
While searching the Shell gas station on Buford Highway and Old Peachtree Road, the officer spots someone by the dumpster.
Come here. He works here?
He says he works there too, but can't explain why he has a large amount of cash in his pockets.
And you got cash falling out of your pocket.
No, I got cash. Police didn't arrest anybody that day, but once they were able to review the video about a week later, it appeared to show a phantom punch. And police had more evidence the robbery was a fake.
The video is crucial.
Corporal Ted Sadowski says the incident happened January 21st.
It's an obvious
Police
fake.
treated it like an armed robbery, using every resources until they charged both men with working together to steal $5,000.
It obviously takes a lot of resources to put something together and put a closure on this.
The cashier, Raj Patel, and the supposed robber, Danny Curtis, both now face felony conspiracy charges.
You know, no Academy Award shouldn't be given on this one.
Yeah, definitely not. Curtis has a criminal history, so he's being held in the Gwinnett County Jail without bond. As for that cashier, there's an active warrant out right now for new felony charges.
Man, that Aluma Tranny's desperate down there to start up some more fake drama so he can get more attention on his failing channel. Illumitranny, please just go find something else to do, bro. Let it go. It's going nowhere. It's never been going anywhere from the beginning. I tried to tell you. You don't have to keep this manufactured, jealous, envious, hating drama going, right? Just do and be better. Your life will get better. You're not accomplishing anything on here. So I've tried to tell you over and over again. You won't accept it. Oh, man. What a shame. All right, let's move forward. Catastrophic crop losses predicted for BC's wine industry. And some folks might say that this was engineered. I know Snafu Snaps is going to say that. Because all of a sudden there was record cold temperatures the past year or two. After they said there was global warming, of course. So global warming's here. Record cold temperatures might have something to do with all them clouds they're spraying. If you ever watch them, they spray them and then all of a sudden a big dark gray cloud just covers the sun and creates basically a mini ice age winter, some might argue. So, I'm sure that they're not doing that specifically to dampen the production of the crops. I mean, why would anyone do that when they're here to keep us safe? Let's get to it. Let's see. Let's see what they conclude. The experts.
It's considered dead, so we have to pull it and replace it.
Each blue ribbon marks a vine that is no longer viable at Le Vupont Winery in Oliver, damaged by extremely cold temperatures back in 2022.
You have to imagine it as a flash freeze. Like it's when you put a piece of some vegetables in the freezer and then they freeze, and then the alive tissue becomes black and there's no way for them to come back to life.
But that cold snap was nothing compared to the Arctic blast that blanketed the Okanagan this winter, freezing the vines once again.
We already had a decrease of around 54% of the crop valley-wide.
A new report says BC's wine industry is anticipating catastrophic crop losses of up to 99% of the typical grape production due to January's extreme cold snap.
In fact, we're not expecting any crop at all. So it's that was the dire news. We're a catastrophic collapse is kind of the term that we're using, and stunned disbelief, I think, is the best how to characterize how the industry is feeling and reacting to it.
The report says production this year is estimated to be 1 to 3% of typical yields, with most of that coming from the Fraser Valley and Vancouver Island.
But because
all right, well, that's pretty much it. I mean, what else is there to be said about that? Margot Davey just sent me a contribution. Thank you, Margot Davey. Much appreciated. I think that's a first, so that's a good sign. They're here for a while and they start contributing. Means I've done something right.
You might have missed it.
And frauded properly. Go ahead.
You might have missed it, or maybe not, but she said it was for early Father's Day gift.
Oh, yeah, okay. She didn't put that on there, but that's good. I'm not even a father, yet I'm getting Father's Day gifts because I am the world's best daddy, at least the internet's best daddy. I'm going to go ahead and accept that award. Why not? God of all media has to be the best father, right? That is how it works. They do call the entity the father. So, okay, let's see. What else do we got here? Bricks. Do we want to finish the bricks situation? I think
all white brick.
Why?
No tan brick.
Why Bitcoin? Thank you, sir. Why Bitcoin ETFs will bring a flood of liquidity to the market? I guess we'll get into this aspect of the broadcast, and then we'll shut it down shortly. So, if anybody has any final questions, comments, concerns, start to make your way up to the panel area. If not, forever hold your peace. We'll do a few more. We'll do some cop shooting citizen slaves and then wrap it. So, yeah, flood of liquidity. Bitcoin's been moving up pretty quickly, all things considered. We're making the move.
With, I suppose, the volatility that we do see in Bitcoin, how do you mitigate the potential for downside? Because again, you mentioned the halving and you mentioned what's happening in April. And I would imagine because you are a listed entity, obviously your shareholders, the people that like investing in you, obviously would have these concerns. That is there any way to mitigate even further, much like a number of commodity players do in terms of hedging or the like, in order to offset any kind of downturn in Bitcoin, or you just have to live and die by the price?
Well, you kind of have to live and die by the price. Yes, you can hedge, but hedging is an imperfect science. So, for example,
One way to hedge that Bitcoin miners will do is they'll sell covered calls on the Bitcoin that they hold. Well, if you had done that a month ago, you likely would have been called out because Bitcoin has gone on this run here the last few weeks. That would have, caused those options, call options to get called out. You can also put puts to protect you from the downside, but typically those are priced so far below where Bitcoin is actively trading for them to be attractive that you're going to lose 30% of the value of your Bitcoin before the put comes into effect.
All right,
So,
blah blah blah. Enough of this jibber jabber. These guys bore the shit out of me. I'm gonna get to a couple picks I gave you before some months back to show you how this market can work. There is opportunity here. Let's see, what do we got? All right, we got Beam. Just gonna hit him real quick because again, you got to do your own research. You got to do your own charting. Yeah, this isn't about necessarily just grabbing whatever anyone else is or talking about. We got Beam 2 cents. The buy-in is 1 cent, 1.8. We're at 2.7 now. Close to a 3x, but at least a 2x on that. Now let me see here. 2.8's the daily. Just yesterday was when the profit taking scenario would have occurred. So we're at 3.1 yesterday. So buy in 1.8, 3.1, close to a 2x at that point. Not quite, but close. And again, we're still way ahead of the curve. Bitcoin's like 30%, somewhere around, I think, away from its all-time high and projected to go about twice of what the all-time high is. So if we're ahead of the game, you're already up 100, 200%. You're in a good position. That's why they say millionaires are made in a bear market. You buy when everyone else is scared and everything is low, and you start to take profit along the way. We got VTOR token. Same idea. Buy low, sell high. So we're in it 0013, less than 1 cent, 1/10 of 1 cent. 0013. So we got to go back even further, about a month. Yeah, this is 0019. So still significantly, what is it, about 6 months ago, I think this one was. There we go. You can see right there, 0013 is the entry point. Where we at today? 0048. So that's a 4x. Right. So just on that pick alone, probably less than 6 months ago, it's a 4x. So let's say you do 5,000 in it. You're up 4x. So again, a lot of these picks up 100, 2, 3, 400 or more. I got a yield guild games. Same idea. You're basically just charting. We go to the all-time chart here. You can see where we're at in comparison. This is all-time. Over here is going to be 2021, last bull run. So pretty much every 3 to 4 years. And you can see where we're at now in comparison. Pretty much nothing, right? If you compare over here to where we're at here, hasn't even moved yet. Now let's zoom in, and you'll see how it works over the yearly timeline, right? So when you zoom in yearly, where's the buy-in mark? 0.19 cents. So we're about right here. Fairly good position. About right there. Pretty close to the lowest position you're going to have over the year. Right? And then where are we at now? 0.50. So that is almost 3x. On its way to a 3x. And of course, it just dropped. So where were we at yesterday? About 60 cents. So about a 3x, right? So that's just 3 picks right there. You got anywhere from 2, 3, 4, 5x. And we haven't even started running yet. Again, if I go back to these other charts and I zoom out, you can see that's zoomed in over the 7-day. You got a lot of movement over the last 7 days, starting to have liquidity come into Bitcoin. And then, of course, everything else follows Bitcoin. If you go to the all-time high, where's our all-time high marker? All-time high is 4 cents. All-time low 0.00015. So like 1/1000th of 4 cents, I guess. 1/100th. Point I wanted to make is when you get in on these positions, you got a massive upside and very little downside. You know, even if something that if you buy something that's at 5% of its all-time high, even if it cracks down to 2% of its all-time high, you're going to lose 50% of what you put in. You're not going to lose it. It's just going to go down until it goes back up. You know, that's a lot of volatility, right? To stand to be able to lose 50% of what you put in for the meantime. Till you never lose it till you sell. But for it to go down 50%, the problem is the upside is like 20, 30, 40, 50x. Right? If something's at 3 to 5% of its all-time high, let's say it gets back to its all-time high over this next bull run, over the next 6 months to a year, you got, what did I say, 3% of its all-time high? So you got pretty much a 30x, right? Because 30 times 3 is 90 with a little bit left over, so about a 32, 35x. So that's the point of these investments, is that short term you have a lot of potential upside and a limited downside, all things considered, right? So, you know, let's say you take 5,000, you split it up into, 5 things, 1,000 a piece, or 10 things, 500 a piece. One of them hits for 10, 20, 30x, it's going to make up for losing all the rest of it, right? Let alone a couple. And again, if Bitcoin goes up, everything follows it. So your chances of doing 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30x are fairly good with this macro environment, and the fact that at some point here, it's projected that Bitcoin will overtake gold when it comes to inflow, especially after the ETF approval, right, by the SEC. Thank you, Sandra Chase. Sandra Chase did not leave a message, but she did send a contribution. Thank you for your gift. 1,000 holy days of enslavement continues without a hitch. Okay. Your thoughts on any of that? Does anybody even care about bettering themselves financially, putting themselves in a better position, taking advantage of potentially a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? There's not too many commodities or assets or investments you can make with a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50x upside potential, as far as I know, right? The best investors are lucky to get 10, 20, 30, 50%, 100% if they're fucking amazing. Your thoughts on any of that? Crypto's the devil or what? Stay away from it. Get in if you study it. What are your thoughts? Brian O'Shea, we barely heard from you. I don't think we've heard from you at all today, which is kind of upsetting, a bit disappointing.
Nah, you're speaking my language with the crypto thing, because that's these people that trade in crypto, their bosses will, during the training, will have them play poker to understand pattern recognition and everything it takes to be a good trader. So yeah, that's
the gambling, right? If you're gonna make a gamble, that's the pick. It ain't no casino shit you're doing, as far as I'm concerned. If you're gonna gamble, life's a gamble. If you're gonna gamble in investments and in making your money work for you, that's the pick. 50% downside versus a 30x upside, that's a pretty damn good bet when it comes to bets, right? And again, the bet is based off of probabilities, based off the macro environment. Bitcoin limited supply, halving event every 4 years. After the halving event within the first year, the price doubles, triples, quadruples from wherever it's at. It's already at 50,000 now. We're projected somewhere around 100, 150,000 by the end of this cycle, barring some extreme event, which of course is always a potential in between, because they like to get you in high and then drop you out and sell in low so they can buy back in low and sell high. They will shake up the landscape in order to shake you out of the market. That is part of the fun of it. But yeah, man, if you're going to bet, if you're going to gamble, I think that there's a lot of opportunity in crypto right now. Don't bet more than you're willing to lose. Don't bet more than is going to be a catastrophic event, right? If something happens with it. And make sure you secure it offline, right? Do the cold storage thing. Don't keep it on the exchanges. I have experience with that. If you keep it on the exchanges and they go bankrupt, they're going to try to give you like $3 off of 10,000. And of course, I'm being a little bit, flippant there, but you get my point. They're going to try to cut you a check, a percentage, or whatever's on there because they mismanage the assets that they claim to hold safely. So if you're going to get into crypto, not investing advice at all, not financial advice. If you're going to get into it, make sure that you have your crypto secured away from folks who can go bankrupt and or manipulate the market. And hold it long term, right? You never really lose until you sell. So if you buy in, something happens, it cracks down, you're down 50%, you just hold it. Right? Go put it in the drawer, leave it there, come back 3 years from now. You might be surprised at what you find. Go ask all the folks who bought Bitcoin years ago and then went and bought pizza with it. They basically bought $1 million pizza. At the time, Bitcoin was worth $10. Now it's about 50,000. So a lot of these folks spent the equivalent of $30 Bitcoin at the time. It was 10 cents, right? So it's gone from 10 cents to $10, 10,000, and we're seemingly moving toward the 100,000 mark. So nobody would have suspected at one point that Bitcoin would be worth 50,000 per coin. If folks did, they wouldn't have been trading 5-10 Bitcoin at a time for a fucking pizza. 50 Bitcoin for a pizza. Right? So that's part of like investing is trending, right? Watching the trends and being able to calculate where it's all going. So for somebody who could see the world at a macro level to see the trend, they would have known, well, this or something like this is going to be the next big thing. It would have been obvious at that point. And there's still folks to this day, many of them investors, out of one side of their mouth, they're investing, right? At the other side, they're saying Bitcoin has no utility, it's no use case, don't buy it, it's trash. When it's out competing gold and every other asset, percentage-wise, right? Up tens of thousands of percent. All right, let's move on here. Nobody cares about financial freedom and independence. They want to be poor and broke all their life, and they want Dogecoin to be given to them at some point. Universal basic income.
I'm guessing you're not invested at all in any like penny stocks or index funds.
No, I don't see the purpose. I dabbled with that at one point, and it was a waste of time, energy, attention as far as I'm concerned. They're pulling like 10, 20% gains at a time.
Index funds as well?
I'm a degenerate gambler, right?
Right.
Well, not right. I mean,
Well,
I'm not actually. I see a lot of upside potential with this.
I appreciate how you expanded, you just illustrated what that gentleman who joined the panel at the end and shared his experience with Bitcoin was, and, just sort of telling people it's never too late to get into the housing market, never too late to get into this market. It really, breaking it down on the graph there really helped me see, how it's a poor man. It's like buying into, if you don't have enough money to invest into a house, which in many places is a fairly secure investment, but you have no money, you're house rich and home poor until you sell, which you might not, it might be your kids that sell it. This is an opportunity to invest in something that has the potential and the trend of returns like most housing markets. And yet you don't have to spend, $600,000 to get in. So it was very educational for me. I really appreciate it, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's what makes it potentially a great opportunity, and I'm sure that it's partially been made to seem that way. Part of this is like an authentic, organic / manufactured sentiment. So they've made it more and more attractive to the mainstream because, again, this seems to be an organized plan to get everyone on digital currency and do away with cash. The BRICS and all the rest of it kind of cements that. So yeah, you will be assimilated at the risk of sounding like, some character from a dystopian novel. You will be assimilated. We already have been. We're on the metaverse here now. We got the phones in every pocket. We got no more cash. Most people ain't carrying around cash. They're carrying around digital credits on a screen. right? And a card in their pocket. So we see the trend. We see the way it's moving. We know that the future cannot be stopped. And we know that there's a bunch of folks who have a lot of resources and power who are working on creating the future and what it looks like. So we could just get really real with ourselves and each other. It's all devilish. It's all deceptive. It's all mischievous, but it's all part of this world that we live in. Right. So again, we can use the tools. We could work with the world that we live in without becoming of it, is the conceptualization, to put ourselves and each other in a better position. Why not? I don't think there's anybody out there, regardless of how godly and righteous they think they are, that wants to be poor and broke and get trends set on you instead of setting trends or being aware of the trends being set and positioning yourself to weather the storm, so to speak, and maybe come out on top, whatever that means for you. All right, let's get to Uber.
Would you,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, quick question. Would you say that the advent of debit cards as well as credit cards with no fiat, no gold backing it, already was a form of a grooming tool for digital currency?
Absolutely.
Like that? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I believe that whoever runs this world, there's something else. There's something that created this whole thing, and then something else that seemingly has tasks for the world, like from the beginning of time. So how it works on a long game scale, I have no idea. It might just be a part of who and what we are, but it seems to unfold, and it's a little bit too coincidental, and it seems to be one move to a move to a move. So it's not an accident, right? These folks, whoever they are, or whatever it is that inhabits them, it knows hundreds and thousands of years ahead of time somehow what the end goal is going to be, because time seemingly is not what it appears to be to us. So yeah, one thing leads to the next, leads to the next, leads to the next. You turn around hundreds of years later and you're in something. It's all around you. You're part of it. They're putting it inside of you. Yeah, it's not a coincidence. It's organized from the top down, and I believe that it's transcends over from another reality, if that makes sense. Some kind of a...
It does. It fits into my philosophy well, actually.
Yeah, what these folks, I mean, there's a lot of anecdotal evidence to suppose that there's a membrane, there's some other state of beingness, some other arena of consciousness, and beings from time to time move back and forth in between. Again, I can't prove any of this. I'm just going on what's been supposed or the anecdotal evidence that's been testified to. But it does seem to be too much smoke to not be a fire, right? There's something bigger, as the Talcottian one always says, going on here. There's something beyond localized consciousness inhabiting what we call human beings and the creatures of this world. There's something else going on here. And it's again, unless it's a product of our mind and how it works, we just tend to project onto everything. This is a common experience from the beginning of time. And I tend to believe I'm a pretty objective being. I guess we all want to believe that, but I look at it and I go, no, separate from anything that I'm experiencing or conceiving, or want to be true or not want to be true. There's something else clearly going on here. The experience that folks have called God and the devil from the beginning of time, I suspect. It's not a fantasy. It's not an imagination, an imaginarily produced, show or fantasy. This is a piece of our reality that we tune into at times, it seems. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see where it goes. It's a long game. We're all here, down for the ride. Anyway, right? Once we're here, we're down for the ride, and we know that the way out is death, and the way on to whatever our next experience is. So we already have to make peace with that anyway. Everything else in between is just living the right way, doing the best we can, securing ourselves and each other, whoever is in our lives on the ground, and then, surrendering the outcome. We can't change who and what runs this world and what they're going to do with it. We can change who and what we are, how we interface with the world and everything in it. And I think that's where the truest test, power, and value is found. That's what we came here to do, I suspect. Can't prove much of any of that. All right, let's move on. Uber, Lyft, DoorDash drivers stage strike across Canada. The quote is, "Who cares about us? More victiming. You're supposed to care about you. Stop looking for other people to care about you more than you care about you. Stop looking for other people to make you successful more than you make yourself successful." That is the air of our time.
This Uber driver in Toronto is blunt. he can no longer earn a living wage picking up customers.
We are getting paid like even not the minimum.
He says the company takes a big bite, and he points to additional fees like those charged by the city that slash his income.
We are Canadian, but nobody cares about us. None of the
Nobody is
labor
caring.
ministry,
Nobody
not the
loves
city of
us.
Toronto, not
Who's
the
going to be our
Queen's
daddy?
Park, no one.
Mr. Justin
Today,
Trudeau
drivers
doesn't
turned
care
off
about
the
us.
ignition from downtown Toronto to Vancouver International Airport.
Get a
and in
fucking
many
life.
US cities
What are you guys
to
bitching and
boycott
whining and
Uber.
crying about anyway? I did fucking DoorDash and Uber and all the rest of it. You guys make good fucking fiat. Gonna say money, but that don't exist. You guys do pretty damn well, all things considered. You get to make your own fucking schedule. Yeah, give me this bullshit. You know what this means? This is from somebody who sucks at everything they do. So then they complain about why their results suck. I bet you if you bought the right fucking car and you cared about your business, see, here's the theme again. If you had an ethic and a logic about you and a certain air of class, you'd probably have better results. If you just thought ahead, right? Like you put some fucking blunt wraps and shit in the back of the car, you know, maybe even leave some dirt weed back there that costs you little or nothing to get it. Now, when someone gets in the car, oh, there's a whole fucking bunch of blunt wraps back here, some good reefer, maybe some of that yellow liquid. You look out for your fucking people. You know, maybe you put a fucking 30-cent snack back there for these pathetic, obese slaves. You know, you pay it forward. You look out for them, they look out for you. No, you do this because you just want to fucking have some slave get in the car, ignore them, turn your music up, insult them, harass them, right? Don't give a fuck about his ride and his experience and serving the customer. That's the common theme and the problem. That's why I bet they all have shitty results. If you really cared about yourself and the inside of that car and that rider's experience, I bet you would do well. As long as you were able to take the ones who didn't tip you and just blow it right by and go, I'm not even going to focus on that. I did my best. He don't want to tip. On to the next one. You stay in that mode and you keep going, you're going to get to something. I've experienced it. The problem is halfway through the night, every night, something happens and a slave gets out of their fucking mode. Goes, why is this happening to me? This is the worst thing ever. This always happens. It's never going to go well. And now they just manifested a horrible outcome for themselves. So there's people who, and you can't explain it, but there's certain people who will outcompete and or succeed in any venue you put them in. And everyone else around them will cry and complain and whine why their results suck. When I valeted, it was the same deal. They're crying at the end of the night. They didn't get tipped. I said, well, what'd you do? What do you mean? I brought the car and then brought them the ticket. Right. You didn't ask them if they needed anything. You didn't go up to the people who were outside and offer them anything because they're outside. They need a drink. They need a lighter. They need cigarettes. These are folks who are coming to a convention. You don't give a fuck about serving them. Guess who does? So I'm bringing them weed. I'm bringing them cigarettes. I'm taking their car down to the fucking thing to get alcohol because they want to. You can call me whatever you want. I'm a hustler. I care about serving the customer. And guess what? I'm smart enough to at least know if I don't care, I'm going to get more money if I just serve these motherfuckers the right way. Most people don't show up to work like that. Most people I showed up to valet with didn't want to stand outside. They went to their car in between, so they were late to get to the fucking ticket. I stood outside in the rain in a jacket. They had to sit in the heat and read books and watch DVDs. I didn't bring any fucking media or materials with me. I'm busy working. See? So at the end of the night, when I have 2 or 3 times the tips, and these poor broke bitches want to go to manager and say, we got to split up tips because Paulie Boy has 3/4 of all the money, I tell them, go fuck yourself. I work harder, I get more. I'm smarter, I get more. You're lazy and procrastinating, you do less, you get less. That's what used to fascinate me. I would do more and go out of my way to make more, and the scum at the end of the night would try to have me split up tips evenly. I go, you all got $30. I got $200 because I'm making moves. You think I'm splitting up what the fuck I made with you? And then one time, I caught the guy I told you before. He had money in his sock, like all scum do. So he wanted me to split up my honest earnings that we counted out together. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt the first couple times till I went to the manager. I said, I'm not splitting no more. These guys suck at what they do. They're lying and stealing too. And they try to come to me at the end of the night, have me split up $200 with 2 or 3 other guys while they're handing me $20 bill. Like I don't know what's going on. So One night, the kid bumped his fucking toe. Not a kid. He was a 50-year-old man who, a holy roller, said he was a Christian, all the rest of it. Slammed his toe on the brick that was sticking up. It was so coincidental. This is how God works. Right after I pay him out, I go, bro, this don't make sense. You got like $30. I got $200, and you kind of hustle a little bit. Sure enough, bangs his toe, goes, kicks his shoe off out of reaction, and the money comes flying out when he pulled his sock off. Because he kicked the shoe off and then pulled his sock off in pain. And he was so stupid, he forgot he put the fucking money in his sock. So it all came out in front of me. I go, there you go. There's the rest of your fucking money for the night. So we were done after that, right? I went to them. I said, not only am I not splitting up because I hustle and make more than these guys and I'm smarter than them and I care more, but they're lying fucking deviant scum too and want to lie in my face and hide money. So, yeah, you got to take charge. Moral of the story, you got to take charge of yourself wherever you go. You got to take charge of the situation. You got to outcompete these motherfuckers, and you can't stand for their nonsense and their games because they will trick you out of position if you let them. Your thoughts, Christos, before we move on? I don't know how we got on that. Peanut Power gave me this. Like he knows about driving Uber or everything you tell him, right? Everything you tell him that you could do good at, his immediate thing is it's not good. It's not going to work. He wonders why.
Well, I'll tell you this. I never worked for any of those companies, but like I said, I did have a time where I occasionally would be, say, downtown area.
I did have a time where I ordered Uber Eats once, and I asked the driver, and he said it's not good, so I accepted it.
I did Pineal Lift, right? I told people I asked people like in downtown or whatever when I'd be out, how much is your fare? All right, well, how about, you give me this much, and I save you this much, you make me this much that I wouldn't make otherwise, and yeah, and
you realize that you got to have a car, right? Nobody wants to ride on your back to their location.
Well, that's why I'm not doing it now, because
Penal's rickshaw.
Yeah. But, occasionally, your fare's $30. All right, give me $20. I'll ride you down the fucking street. It's like a, 20-minute drive. So, yeah.
So you're going to shit on Uber and DoorDash because you went around riding around downtown and asked some people if they wanted to get in the car with you. And they said no. That was your first-hand experience of why DoorDash sucks.
No,
you're insane. You know that, right?
No, you were right what you said, though.
I usually am. It's what I do.
My sister did that, actually. She would have a bunch of candy in the back. She did both, I think, Uber and Lyft. And, yeah, she'd have a bunch of candy in the back and shit. That shit costs nothing.
Yeah, and she's giving out pussy. I don't mean to insult you, but,
I doubt it.
That's the game. Oh, no, she is.
I'm talking about my older sister, but, yeah. I don't think my younger is either, but...
yeah, I mean, you leave some candy out, a blunt wrap, and blow me. That's a hefty tip coming your way.
Holy shit!
Yeah, can you give me a mic check, fellas?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Pineal, not yet. She will be soon with that colored hair.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, the culture is fucking weird, man. The culture is weird. The BLT plus community.
Your beard is weird.
My beard is pretty weird. At least I have one. I'm like OTW. OTW talking about fucking shaving, how facial hair is retarded, and I don't know what's up with the OTW and the facial hair thing, but he's got some in this picture, I think, it looks like. So I don't see what the issue is. Maybe it's because it's white and he feels subconscious about it.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
He's got gray beard hair. So maybe that's what
he looks cool. Hey, chill out. Yeah, he looks cool. He looks all right.
Patrick, let it grow, man. Let it grow, dude.
Yeah, that's the man, right?
All right, let's get into the cop shooting citizen slaves, and then I got to wrap up here.
Same with Mitch, man. Let it grow, man. Unless you just, I guess, don't grow any. I've seen you have some facial stubble, though. You should just let it ride, dude.
All right, please.
To each their own.
Chicago, right.
I yield.
Chicago police officer shoots armed man during a foot chase. It's obvious he can't grow a beard. That wasn't part of the headline, that last part.
He's coming back. He's going back to St. Louis, squad. Shots fired, please.
Okay. Why are they warning me? What's happening?
I've never seen that before. That happened as you were playing it? What the fuck?
Yeah.
That is bizarre. Alrighty then.
Well, we pretty much saw it already. Like the warning came way after the fucking shooting. Let's back up here. I think I'm getting doxxed.
My man, where are you hit?
Oh, yeah. They just started for no reason.
Stop.
A black young African American man. Back up.
My man, where are you hit? Okay, stop.
They shot. Back up. Back up. Back up. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you. Back up.
Fuck. I'm gonna get you help, bro.
I'm be good.
Bro, I'm trying to help you.
Yeah! Back up! Bitch, we get back up now! Back up, bitch! Fuck you!
You're gonna be good, man, okay? Just relax.
Back up! Fuck y'all! Can you watch this hand? Alright, I'm gonna move my car. I'm moving the car.
Scoot over. Go over. Huh?
Just hang tight, buddy.
No, man. Fuck.
Let me get no officers injured squad. Just send CFD. The weapon recovered on scene. One person struck.
Got a gunshot one to the back. Hit this off. No. Okay, bro. Back up!
Back up! I ain't got no gun!
You got a med kit? You got a med kit? Yeah. Back the fuck up, bro. Relax. You're gonna be good, okay? Relax. Yeah.
All right, well, that's pretty much it. I guess they're going to render aid. Boys in Blue not getting the warmest reception out on the streets of what looked to be Philadelphia. What was the headline here? Chicago. Same deal. Same difference, right? All right, let's move forward. We'll get through them pretty quick.
It's always great to see that we're being kept safe, you know. So I think that'd be a great next thumbnail. I'm surprised. I don't think we've seen that before. You know, on Slavia in blue, boys in blue.
No, you have.
Like
You've seen that. You've seen that. Okay. Not with everyone, but me, officer unslaved.
Okay.
It wasn't the whole gang. Yeah, we might need one. We might have to get OTW on it with the face melding technology to get the full precinct picture, right? Graduating class. All right, let's get to it. Analysis. Yeah. NYPD. NYPD. Show me your feet. Body cam video of deputies shooting woman.
We're joined now by Fox 26 senior legal analyst Chris Tritico to talk about another story making national headlines, and that is the controversial body cam.
Watch out for acorns.
County deputies shooting a woman multiple times in her friend's apartment. Civil rights
That's
attorney
at his
Ben Crump
hands.
calling for the deputies to be held accountable. First, Chris, let's take a look at the video.
Oh yeah, this is the one we saw yesterday. The one we saw yesterday. We had the full extended version. Yeah, they gunned down the woman in her own house, and then reloaded and did it again. Okay. Fleeing suspect runs towards officers with gun before being shot. That sounds interesting. Loading. On the ground. Sound component or what? Was that not the same guy?
Stop!
Oh, that's your boy. That's the same one. So I got multiples here. That is. All right, bear with me here. Officer shoots suspect who pointed gun at another man. These get a bit repetitive. Monotonous. Joseph doesn't like this. Joseph, if you're here, look away. It's very disturbing. I know you don't like these.
There's a
Upsets
police
the new
department. I need
viewers
you
as
to lay
well.
down on your stomach. Put your hands out to the side. Lay down on your stomach. Gun! Gun! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Move away, sir! Move away! Move away, sir! Move away! Sir, move away! Sir, move away!
Mighty God, new beginning.
Lay down! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
Gave him the one piece.
271, I have shots fired. Suspect hit. Suspect down.
All units, code 9 channel 1, shots fired. 20.
Where's the gun? All right, leave it there.
Sam 23, do you copy?
I need everybody staying here. Everybody needs to stay right here.
Guy's like freaking out on everyone now.
271, I need rescue ASAP.
They're en route.
God damn it. God damn it. God damn it. You all right?
I think he's just realizing he
My
actually shot
taser's
someone.
here, bud. We just need to make sure everybody stays here. Taser's here. Okay. His gun's here. I just dropped my taser. Okay. I activated the taser first as he was pulling the gun out of his pocket. This gentleman was fighting to try to get the gun away from him. Okay. He appeared in danger. The gun was pointed directly at his head, and that's when I finally fired because the gun wasn't getting away.
You guys are okay. Put your hands down.
Yeah,
No,
guys,
put
just
your
calm
hands
down. No, you're not under arrest or anything. I just need you guys staying here, okay?
Okay. Who else saw this?
I don't know if anybody else, this gentleman here did too.
Okay, give me a minute. I'll come talk to you guys, okay?
All right, I think I'm going to leave it there. The usual awkward, abrupt ending with cops shooting citizen slaves and folks moaning on the ground, lamenting their decisions. Final words, expert panel. I see why Joseph says I should move away from that segment. Kind of takes all the energy out of the room.
Well, I'll go first. Thank you very much, Paul and panel, for Paul, for a very educational and spiritually enlightening stream. I appreciate it being not quite as stimulating as yesterday because I had to go drink a glass of wine after yesterday's conversation. So thank you very much, and I look forward to future conversations here and other places. I really appreciate you, Paul, and the people you have around you. And I'll see you guys again soon.
Thank you, Bex.
Bye for now.
We'll see you later.
Thanks, Bex.
Obviously masturbated right after the broadcast too. She didn't want to bring that up, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. She was very stimulated. She went and had a glass of wine, and she had fantasies about the God of all media. That's the story I'm telling. Who's this guy? James Martin? You're not going to get me, pal. James Martin, can you hear me? James Martin, Mason, hello?
Pipe up, fat slave.
You corny, bro.
What is that looping clip saying?
Oh, is that John? Who is that? Who's doing that?
Naked
I don't understand what.
big herd throbbing cocks sucked 18 cowboys to be
So this is like what you do? Some old man comes up here and like plays audio?
knees.
Is there no visual component?
Yeah, there's a visual component back there. He's got some old man with audio, and then he's got some guy jacking his dick back there. And he can't figure out that it can't be seen. So you're a fucking moron. You didn't get me. I knew when you came up here initially, you were probably up to no good. And you're so stupid, you went ahead and showed it again anyway. Oh, great stuff.
That might be the Talcott P-bomber from the other day that I heard about.
Yeah, the difference is I'm not a fucking moron, and if I'm like paying attention, which I normally am, you're not going to get one over on me. So.
Yeah, 100%. And shout out to OTW for learning from his mistakes for the early days when he was doing that type of shit and letting P-bombers on without screening and so on.
Yeah, I haven't had.
Yeah, the guy's a pathetic old man too. I saw him at first back there. He's 60-something years old, and this is what he does with his life, right? Another Randy Reeves clown.
Yeah,
they're all the same.
Aaron Haywood 4.0, gang stalking of the truth community or whatever the fuck that.
Dude, I forgot about that. That
motherfucker
existence. Wow.
All right, give me the final words, man. These guys are powerless. They lost again. Another failed endeavor.
100. Appreciate it, y'all. Let's keep up these good streams.
Thank you. Mitchell taking his leave. Go ahead, Pino Power. Make it quick.
Yeah, it's been a fun one. Appreciate you. Happy Friday, everyone, and appreciate you as always, Mr. Paul. Take it easy, get some sustenance, and see you on the next one. Be well.
Thank you, sir. We'll see you later.
All right.
Pino Power out. All right, folks. Resoundingly successful broadcast. That's what I'm calling it at this time. Why? Because I did it. One Paul Enslaved, known as the God of all media. I am that, of course. Go get some sustenance. Go be productive. Go get some relaxation if you've already been productive for the day and created some value for yourself and others with a servant's heart. You need your rest, okay? I will be back sometime tomorrow, 12 to 3 MDT. Look for the notification. Set the notification. Like, share, subscribe to all the rest of the crap. You know the thing, like Joey Biden says. Until tomorrow, peace and blessings. Everyone, much love, and Mazel from out west. All right, get the hell out of here. Tired of looking at you. Take religion and a spiritual process and make somebody activate a part of themselves that they didn't know was there. You got something there. And I think that's all of what we're doing in all ways is trying to reunite and reactivate those parts of ourselves that we've had cut off or we've had dormant to try to survive in this sick and twisted dynamic. This spiritual practice, right? Certain things like I do here, just meeting with people daily, talking it out, doing a simulation, right? Imagining certain things, maybe a form of meditation, you could argue, will reform the perspective, will reform the way we think and feel and how we act and live if there's truth there that resonates. So that's the modality I prefer because I think anything else is kind of a shortcut and really it's just a tool meant for extremes that, even then you still have to come back to your life and learn how to live it. It might just be that everybody should have some experience in their life that takes them out of themselves and it forces them to surrender over to something so they can learn the art of surrender in certain situations. How do we learn to really live and thrive again? Cool to have structure, habit, procedure, process, certain levels of responsibility, accountability that lead to success. How are we going to love again? How are we going to live again? How are we going to thrive and co-create, have community, right? So I see both aspects in self and I see a lot of those same aspects in others that come forth in these spaces. But again, it's a slippery slope in a world of religious dogmatics when the other side of that is actual nihilist, infidel, worldly scum who really want a whole population on drugs, right? It's a slippery slope because one side's going to call you the devil, the other side's going to say, yeah, let's do that so they could take drugs all day, every day and claim it to be the all. That's why I can't support it and promote it because I know what it will turn into.